Excuse me as I try to get things set up. I know, I'm late. Yeah, come on. Come on, cell phone. Would you do this to me? I love Stefan. Hi, everybody. Hey, hi. I was having a long and intimate conversation with someone about some things. Okay. Audio is good. I can now see the live chat and put it in the hot chat. Hello, everybody. We are here. We are here to do things. More importantly, we are here to roast and critique a bad take that I forgot to put into the goddamn mentions of the goddamn shit. Oh my god. So, give me a moment so that we may be able to look at the content that we will be looking at today. Because I hope that this is the last time I'm going to have to cover any topic concerning the dear girl. However, I need to go take a quick leak and then check and see if my other snacks got here, and then we'll get underway. My snacks are here. At least one of them are here. I forgot which one this is. It's the Airheads. I wish it were alcohol. Where did I go? I went outside to go get this. Didn't I say? Oh wait, that's not Stefan speaking, that's someone else entirely. Where did I go? I went outside to go get my snacks, and also go off camera to take a leak, because I have been sitting down for the last 6 to 7 hours, and I had to take a piss. And also, I'll be damned if I'm gonna fucking watch a stream or watch a video from Vaush, of all people, and not have something to fucking eat, so. Having my cancer of choice is necessary. As for the things, I need to quickly update live dashboard and also pull up the video. Got me saying no, 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 no. Got me saying no, 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 no. Got me saying oh, no, no, oh, no, no. Got me saying oh, no, no, oh. You would love to see me debate Vaush? Oh no, you see, that's not gonna happen for 2 reasons. 1, Vaush is not gonna debate me because he doesn't debate people who are smarter than him. 2, he's not gonna want to because the thumbnail of this video is going to lead to him not wanting to. And I'll talk more about that later in the video when we get there. But, basically, I'm not big enough for Vaush to want to attack. And I have no problem debating him. I have no qualms. I am prepared to debate him on this topic or any other one. But he's not going to do that. Because Vaush is a coward. Make this push fucking edit to the description. Okay. Updated in the source. If you refresh your browser, you'll be able to look at the source video that I'm looking at. And put this baby on screen. There we go. If I can get my snack addiction on. It would also help for the people who are here. If you don't mind, if you're going to be here to watch, tweet it out to your friends. More eyes, the more the motto. That's my motto. Sending a tweet really quick. see here, let me tag J. Shall for bad opinions. And Amy. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Like I said, tweet it out to your friends, bring more people, the bottom area, and let's get underway. No more procrastination. Follow me on Twitter. Recently like your takes. Like to hear that. Before we start, how bad is the take? So you can read the title of the video, right? It's that bad. It's that bad.
I don't know how many of you watch live streams apart from the live stream that I do. Do any of you participate in Twitch culture? Hypers if you do. Throw up. Do you watch Twitch streamers? Do you watch anyone else? Or is it just me? Am I the boy? I see a mixed bag here. No need for a poll. We only need the mixed bag. A lot of you probably don't engage much with streamer culture in general. Well, for those of you who don't know, I was exiled from Twitch a little over a year ago because of some stuff. And while I am no longer a part of Twitch,
What
I know
stuff, Vaush? Because this is a very interesting framing to start a video with. Especially in the context of this being something you're projecting to an audience. But he probably did this on stream, and it was like a spur of the moment thing, I'm assuming. I don't know. I did not watch the thing that this comes from, so I have to just take it on his word. However, I find it interesting that it starts off with the bit of the backstory about, you engage in streamer culture. Do you who here on the bot just watches me? Of course there's a whole fucking lot of people who are on Twitch are gonna watch a lot of streamers. There's no way that there's just a person who's just watching one streamer. I myself as a streamer have multiple streamers that I watch when I'm not doing shit myself. But usually, if I'm making content, if I'm on a live stream, I am looking at my things. I have blinders on. Nobody else exists but myself at that point in time. And when I get off stream, when I'm done making content, I have time to watch other people. And of course, I have plenty of content creators that I watch in multiple spaces and places. And it's interesting that he brings this up, because the entire framework here that he's doing is he is building a building block. Oh shit, I should have probably fucking tagged Tina. Fuck. He's building the building blocks of having an opportunity to say, you see, I need to ask y'all, do y'all actually engage with this platform? Do you know about how bad this place can be? That's really a very disingenuous framework. Because most people who involve themselves in internet culture are going to look at multiple sources and have multiple influences. Pretty sure of just the people who are here, they're going to have multiple influences of people they watch. They're going to watch me. They might watch Amy's content. They might be a fan of Poe and might have heard about me because I appeared on Poe's shit, even though I've been doing shit before him. They're going to have multiple influences. There's no way that I'm just the one guy that people watch. And concerning that, since I'm a lower person, there's going to be plenty of those streamers on that level who engage in some level or not at all with stream culture in general. Because high key, most stream culture is the streamer gets harassed by their chat and people fucking yell at them. But it is what it is, you know? It's the internet. People troll. I say this because the topic that he's talking on, because this is the beginning of a framework already. Much like last time when we looked at the video on Kaifuku from Joey the Anime Man. Already out the gate, he's starting off with building the framework to build an argument that doesn't fucking work if you actually are involved in the space, because you actually know what goes on here.
Many people from Twitch who I unfortunately can't talk to on stream, or at least not on their streams. And I mean, you know, I miss the old country, you know? But things have not all been well in the old country, I am afraid. You probably can reasonably guess that Twitch is a hotbed of like reactionary gamer shit, you know, by way of it.
Example A, the shit that I was talking about.
Being a gaming website for the most part. So enter Twitch, okay? They introduce the Twitch Safety Advisory Council. Oh. So it's an advisory council.
He's taking too long. I'm speeding this up.
Basically, it's a collection of people who are meant to relay information to Twitch HQ and give them, you know, maybe some suggestions on how to best address toxicity and what have you within the midst of their community. Make sense? Great idea. Let's take a look at the people here.
That's not the job of the Twitch Safety Advisory Council. The job of the Twitch Safety Advisory Council, you can easily find this if you know anything about this topic. You can go there and look at it for yourself. I'm not going to do an overhanded topic for you this, because I've talked about this topic more than enough. And this is going to be the last time I talk about it before I finish my video about this. The Twitch Safety Advisory Council is a group of people that is made up of professionals, streamers, and one particular diversity hire of varying levels of size, importance, and relevance to the spaces and places that they occupy in the Twitch community, on the internet platform as a whole, and inside of the greater culture that makes up the streaming and live streaming environment. Twitch created the initiative for what I will tell you is multiple reasons. Some ingenuous, some not ingenuous. But what they made the council for, in their words, is to have an opportunity, to give people an opportunity to speak directly to the powers that be on Twitch. Because for streamers, or for people who do not know, specifically streamers that are too small to have this apply to them, and people who just don't know how it works because they're not streamers, they don't know about Twitch. There are two sides of Twitch at the higher echelons that you should be concerned about, know about. One is account managers, and the other ones is trust and safety. The trust and safety side of Twitch are the people who actually handle the bans. Nobody knows who they are. That's not a problem. The problem is that because of the moderation that happens on Twitch, all these promises and all of these statements made by Twitch saying we're going to do better by the platform, we're going to try and do what we need to do, we're going to try to hold ourselves accountable. Because over time, they have shown that they are not able to do that. Twitch decided to go the route of woke hypercapitalism and employ a council of people. Like, they can bring them together and say, hey, here's people, these are your guys. They're going to be your voice and liaisons to us. Which is a good theory. It's a good idea in theory. But it raises some concerns, one of which is going to be demonstrated, and has been demonstrated, by the thing that this video is about. It's important to understand that nowhere in the original document did it explain that the people on the council would be or would not be involved in things like opinions that would be given to help with the assistance of trust and safety to understand, divulge, and break down how or how not they will action an account when it gets banned. Because this is in relevance to the other side of Twitch, which is account managers. When you're a streamer of high size, meaning you have 2,500 to 5,000 up concurrent viewers, you're insanely popular. Everybody knows your name. You're a Caterino, you're a Call Me Carson, you're a Raj Royale, you're a Trainwrecks TV, you're a Count Dankula, You're a Sargon, if he's even on there. You're a Liquid Dominate. You're a Sneaky. You're a Chemist Semi. If you're any of those people of importance, you get what's called an account manager. The account manager is your liaison between the inner workings of Twitch and they help you manage things that happen. And if you get banned, they are able to help you argue your case to trust and safety. So, the thing to understand on why this is important, hello Amy, hi. The reason why this is important to understand, like I've explained all the other times, is that the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. Twitch, historically, in every single scenario, have always ruled how they choose to rule. And they choose to do so on a reactionary basis. Could you say, by Vaush's words, the website itself is reactionary? You could. But, considering how gamers are about information, when somebody says some shit like what the dear girl chose to fucking say, you kind of can't say, well, you see, it's just a shitty website, you see. It's this place,
The old country. Comrades, the old country. I miss it. I really love to be on it. But the old country, it is problematic, comrade. Don't you remember? Don't you know? They hate people.
to just sit here and say that shit on camera before opening up a discussion about harassment that happened to somebody on the platform and off the platform, not because they were outright targeted by people coming after them unprovoked, but because of shit that was brought up and put out in front of the audience because they did not know who they were. And so people curious about who was on this council went back into their VODs to find out things that they said and did. That's what caused the situation. So the bullshit that Vaush just said, and like I just explained before he even said that, is a disingenuous statement. That is a lie, Vaush. That is a lie that you just told on camera. Because you're speculating and you're prepondering something that you haven't even laid out to poison the well of an argument before you have even said the words. People who are already propensed to lean towards you and say, "Oh, I agree with him because you see, I'm not like Vaush. I don't attack people like that. Don't you see? Don't you know?" That's bullshit, and you know it. It was disingenuous when you said it. It was disingenuous when you thought it. Shame on you. You can do better than that.
Alex Holmes, Deputy CEO at a nonprofit, Legacy Young People with the Power to Change the World, founder of the peer-to-peer support program Anti-Bullying Ambassadors. Damn, okay, this guy's like doing shit out there in the world, nice. And we got Co-Carnage, this guy's a massive streamer, huge streamer, very prominent on Twitch. We got Cup and Noodle, partner Twitch ambassador, mayor of Cupton, lover of zombies, music connoisseur. Probably not much going on here, whatever. Like the glasses, like this, what is this, 3 a.m. beanie? That's actually really cool.
So like what he's doing right now is the thing that I just explained. He's going down the list, he's looking at who's there, and he's like, oh, I know who this person is. I don't know who this person is. I know who this person is. That's what happened involving the entire thing. That's what caused the original first of this firestorm. Let's see where he goes.
Lanso, aka the Invisible Woman, director of Center for Democracy and Technology's Free Expression Project. Damn, okay, we got some professional creds here. Very nice, cool, nice. Then we have Ferociously Steph, who we'll be getting back to soon. Steph has been a full-time streamer since her debut, playing competitive collegiate Heroes of the Storm in 2016. She was one of the first transgender streamers to ever be parted on Twitch, and the first to bring a transgender pride flag emote to the platform. That's maybe a little bit of a reach there. Her fight for inclusivity includes creating a competitive team composed entirely of marginalized gamers and vehemently opposing non-inclusive mechanics such as voice chat. We'll get back there soon, okay? Then we have Dr. Samir Hinduja, I probably did not pronounce that correctly, a professor in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Florida Atlantic University and co-director of the Cyberbullying Research Center. Damn, this guy sounds like super fucking accomplished. Holy shit. We got T.L. Taylor, professor of comparative media studies at MIT and co-founder and director of research for ENG. Damn, fuck. And then we've got Zizarin, who I believe is a friend of Destiny's, a Twitch partner who's been streaming since 2015, plays Path of Exile. Great, cool, phenomenal. Okay, so if we look through all of this, we can see that there's a little bit of a disconnect between the people who have professional academic accomplishments and people who are just like Twitch streamers. So this person.
That's disingenuous, and I'm going to explain why. First, let me eat this candy. The reason why all of those professionals are on the panel, like I just mentioned earlier, is because the purpose of this panel is to bring together a coalition of diverse people. Ow. Trying to look at, because I'm not sure if I'm paying attention to it. He's already trying to call the gamers racist. Already said hi to Amy. Vaush is trying to pull a 9-volt. Yes, he is. The reason all of those professionals with actual doctorates in their name are on the council is because this is a tactic of corporation at the hyper-capitalized level that we'll call woke corporatism. The council was put together to give them the airs of doing their minimum basis job, right? They're there for appearances. Whether or not the council is good or bad because of its formation is irrelevant, because that's not the problem. The problem, if you even want to say there's one with the council. Hello. Hi, Nick. The problem with the council is that this council can full ass exist and still nothing gets fucking done, right? They go into a call, they talk about shit. The company says, here's what we're thinking about doing. They give their opinion, the call ends, the company fucks off and goes and does what they could do anyway, and the council holds their hand up and say, nigga, I don't know. Nigga, we tried. Nigga, we tried. It's just that simple, right? How many other times in the history of corporations doing something like this has it ever worked out for the better or the worse? But, to their credit, they went out and they tried to find professionals who understand the intricacies of the temptations of cyberbullying. They go out of their way to at least attempt to put together a good coalition of people. Because there were a lot of people who were in consideration for this council. One of which, who publicly confirmed that he was in consideration, was Devin Nash, a very big industry streamer who is all about industry talk. However, the thing to note here is notice the things that aren't discussed in the actual post. To do that, I need to go actually pull the damn thing up because, of course, I do. Keeping our community safe and healthy is a top priority for Twitch. Today we're excited to announce, I'm not sure if you all can see this, so I'm going to try and read it. No, it looks like y'all can read that. Okay, good. We're excited to announce the formation of the Twitch Safety Advisory Council, which will support the growth of our community moving forward. The Safety Advisory Council will inform and guide decisions made at Twitch by contributing their experience, expertise, belief in Twitch's mission of empowering communities to create together. Meaning that they will advise on a number of topics including drafting new policies and updates, developing products and features to improve safety and moderation, promoting healthy streaming and work-life balance habits, protecting the interests of marginalized groups, and identifying emerging trends that can impact the Twitch experience. All of this sounds nice, but is a whole bunch of fucking hooey. Because what's more important in this is what they don't say. Right? For example, when you say, we're going to protect the interests of marginalized groups, and we're going to try and draft new policies and updates, what kind of policies are you talking about? Are you going to try and push in censorious shit? I don't know that. If I speculate, I could say that it is. But fortunately, because I actually engage in streamer culture, and I watch a lot of content in order to be able to report on things, fortunately, that's not the problem with the council. And you don't have to believe me when I say that. You can just listen to the words of somebody else with more status than me. In an article published, get on my face. an article posted on May 19th. Co-op Carnage, one of the people on the council, made a clip and a VOD on a stream, which I hope they have here, because I don't have the time to go fucking search it down. Alright, they do. Some do. I don't think they have his thing directly. Looking through here, I don't see it. So I'm gonna have to go find it. But Co-op Carnage was the first of many, along with Asmon and many others, who came out and said, the thing that we're here is to not just make a whole fuckload of policies. What we're here to do is to try to push back on those policies. Because the best thing that can come out of the council is actual good. And, to quote Cobb, that there is a whole bunch of negative PR going around that has nothing to do with the council, and I hope that the council are watching. I'm trying to find his clip, but it's not here, so I need to look for it. Now, might be this. I think so. I have no idea. The thing about the council,
a guy like Coach something and also calling a lot, that's quote unquote, by the way, a
oh my god. I should have made sure to fucking find the clip beforehand. That's on me. But it should be in here. And then there's the other video about it. YouTube notifications failed you again. It's cut off on the right, but sure. Okay, good.
Of trespassing, thievery, possession of forbidden foodstuffs, you must perish.
Hopefully somebody has timestamps for this because I can't be bothered right now. Also don't like how much it's lagging. I'm looking through here for Kobe. There we go.
Approaches. That's why I'm on this council. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's basically the only reason I'm there. I don't want to see anything get any harder on Twitch. I don't want to see a whole bunch more rules. I don't want to see things change. A lot of things that we do on this channel, or more importantly, that I don't do, I don't think should be outlawed on other channels. I'm huge about freedom of choice and letting people put on the show they want to, while clearly in black and white, as much as possible, knowing what is not okay to do. And then most importantly, being able to work around that to deliver the show that they want to. So just wanted to kind of clear that up and let people know what my perspective is here. I've had a lot of people be like, oh man, are you guys going to be adding a bunch more rules and stuff like that? I'm going to be fighting against that stuff.
It was my
It's questions like that that I just answered for you, taking way too fucking long to answer it, of the point that I'm trying to make here, and explaining why Vaush is wrong and what he just fucking said and did. Especially in the fact that he did not read any of this, because this is vague. This is extremely, extremely vague. So this can literally mean anything to anyone, right? Now, because they don't say what their actual roadmap is, they can just have anything happen, and they can say it's in the plan. This leads into a lot of shit concerning the topic that we've all been talking about, but we'll hit that argument when we get there. So let's get back to the video.
I don't know how many of you watch live streams apart from the Free Expression Project. Damn, okay, we got some professional creds here. Very nice. Nice, cool, nice. Then we have Ferociously Steph, who we'll be getting back to soon. Steph has been a full-time streamer since her debut. Includes creating a competitive team composed entirely of marginalized gamers and vehemently opposing non-inclusive mechanics such as voice chat. We'll get back there soon, okay? Then we have Dr. Samir Hinduja, I probably did not pronounce that correctly, a professor in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Florida Atlantic University and co-director of the Cyberbullying Research, who I believe is a friend of Destiny's, a Twitch partner who's been streaming since 2015, plays Path of Exile, great, cool, phenomenal. Okay, so if we look through all of this, we can see that there's a little bit of a disconnect between the people who have professional academic accomplishments and people who are just like Twitch streamers. So this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person all seem to have, I mean, they seem to have done like some pretty cool stuff out in the IRL, right? And then we have the Twitch streamers. Carnage is massive. I think that his size justifies his presence here. I don't know that much about Cup Noodle, I'm afraid, but not really relevant to me. And
really quick question and really quick point. Show of hands in the chat audience. Outside, actually no, let me rephrase that. Let me start all over. Be it resolved that the size of an audience could or could not validate the argument that you're saying, does it mean that because you have a large audience, that means your words are more important? Because my answer is no. That's irrelevant, Vaush. And the concerns that what he's saying here is, hey, all of these streamers, they don't actually have qualifications. But hey, this streamer's massive. That validates the reason why he's here. No, it doesn't. Because if you wanted to have a safety council, here's a question. Why don't I see any person here on this council like Ice Poseidon or Pay Money Wubby? People who do IRL content that kind of gets them in trouble a lot with trust and safety because they do things that could be considered that edge of content. The kind of content for the kind of audience that Cope Carnage just talked about. And Cope was eloquent with the point that he made. His entire point is, I'm here to try to stop bad shit from happening. We're not here to make more shit. We're here to try and curtail what could potentially be bad by trying to be common sense. That's a good take. It doesn't matter that Cobb was the one who said it. It shouldn't matter the size of the person who said the opinion and take. Because the point is that the words are more important than the person who said them. I want you to keep that judgment in mind, because that's going to come up in a second. Just because you have a large audience doesn't mean you say shit. Yes, Stefan, that's correct. Like, for example, if Vaush has a good take here, I'm not going to discount what he says if it is an actual good take. Because, it's Vaush. There are plenty of people who I do that to. But I'm going to allow him to build his case. And when he's wrong, I'm going to say when he's wrong. And if he's right, I'm going to say when he's right. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter the size of the person. The only way that it matters for their size is if the person, having said platform to say what they said, choose to make a bad take, they are corrected about it, and they continue to give bad information. That's when that actually matters. It's not that it's a non-factor, but it is extremely less important the size of the streamer, and much more important what kind of perspective they can bring to the platform. Because if you bring in the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1% to concern themselves to the kind of problems that happen on a platform, and you only bring in top streamers, and nobody from the mid-level, nobody from the low level, and nobody who's an instant breakout star, it means that the only things that ever get talked about and seen from the perspective are people who never look below their level. And that's kind of what Vaush does. So, again, doesn't matter the size of the person who says what they say. And them being professionals in cyberbullying does not mean that they instantly understand internet culture. But Vaush doesn't understand internet culture, so you know.
We have, of course, Ferociously Steph. And then we have Zizarin over here. I don't know much about Zizarin. Zizarin? I'm not entirely sure. So all here is well and good, it seems. But we do have a slight problem. And it is this woman, Ferociously Steph. So, you may have heard, when I was going over her credentials, that Ferociously Steph has opposed non-inclusive mechanics such as voice chat. I want to talk about that in a second, but first, let's acknowledge the fact that Ferociously Steph, I think we can all say this fairly reasonably, looks a little bit SJW-esque, right? Colored hair, Steph is transgender, obviously, gamers aren't having none of that. We got the flower in the hair. I'm not saying this in a negative way.
Transgender, gamers are not having none of that. Much like I said on Post Podcast, and much like I repeated last night on my podcast, Stephanie Lore, being trans, has nothing to do with whether or not I assess their words on a value judgment of being good or bad. I said it then, and I will repeat it again, and I will keep saying it as many times as people try to sling that argument. It is a false argument because it is non sequitur, and it is a false start. I don't care. Neither does any person who's more concerned with the take of voice chat is bad, ergo I will ban it. I could care less about the deer ears. I could care less about the colored hair. People dye their hair all the fucking time, men and women. That's not a non-problem. Why would you mention that as though it were? More importantly, let's talk about what he's not talking about. Which is that Stephanie Lore I can be able to find it here. I'm not sure if it'll be on this page exactly. If it's not, I'll have to pull up Sophia's video to talk about it. I can't seem to find it, so I'm gonna have to look up Sophia's shit. Pipes are calling to take me home. There we go.
So am I?
Same shit with the new guy artist. Being trans is used as a force field. That is correct. We'll talk more about that later when it comes up. No one cares that she's trans. Also correct. Give me a second so I can fast forward through here because I need to find exactly where it shows it. There we go. Because I can't waste my time burying around and fucking around the site. But Stephanie Lore is a contributor to the Anti-Defamation League. Show of hands, chat. Who's familiar with the Anti-Defamation League? And how often they try to sell you some lies and shit. Things like this meaning white power. For example. An actual plant from 4chan to get them to believe that things like this is signaling hate. Me, I'm familiar. Yeah. So, when I say to you, Stephanie Lore is an ADL plant, I need you to understand Stephanie Lore is an ADL plant. And Vaush is signaling, in a way, a dog whistle. which, you know, Carl, how do you know it's a dog whistle? Don't you know how dog whistles work? No, that's what Vaush is doing here. Vaush is trying to signal, oh my god, gamers, this person's trans. They look like an SJW. Gamers would definitely hate them. That kind of argument is the poisoning of the well that I was talking about. Before we've even covered the topic, he's already misrepresented and attempted to lie by omission about Stephanie Lore's origins and her involvement. Why would he do that? I won't answer that question for you. You decide. Let's continue.
At all. Like holy shit, like my community is full of SJW types, okay? But this is nonetheless an archetype that is being invoked a little bit here, right? Can we accept that? Fine. So the issue here is that we got all these cool people together, and all of them except for one don't seem to have much baggage. But one of them has opposed non-inclusive mechanics such as voice chat. This is only the tip of the iceberg, but we're going to start here. For those of you who don't know, voice chat is pretty much an essential component of online competitive games. There is basically one game that does not have voice chat, and it is League of Legends, and everyone makes fun of League of Legends for not having voice chat. Voice chat is very, very important. Now, here's the argument presented by Ferociously Steph. It is a correct argument. Are you ready for it? The argument made by Ferociously Steph is that because voice chat is competitively necessary, and the fact that some people are more likely to be bullied off voice chat, like minorities, women, trans people, those people are more likely to not participate in voice chat, which means they're not going to be as competitively viable.
False. There's a clip from my live stream, which I will play in the video when I make that video. When I finish making that video, from Amy, explicitly about how voice chat and all of the rankings and all of the spaces about it are different. In general, competitively speaking, voice communication is important. However, what you're trying to talk about is not voice communication at all times, at all levels. You're talking about voice communication in LANs, voice communications in the pro leagues. Actual competitive people operating at all ranks of play, they do communicate, but they're not communicating with teammates that are going to dox and harass and attack and insult and inflame and mock them and not do so in a lovingly way. What you're talking about is voice chat in solo queue, in the public ladder, on the public rankings. You're talking about going into a game like League of Legends where you queue up for jungle, and you have a shit-ass player who plays top, who cries about top difference and jungle difference, and a bottom lane that cries about jungle difference and mid difference, and a mid laner who's just trying to hold it together so that he doesn't lose his shit because 4 of his teammates are toxic. You're talking about that environment. You're talking about open communicated proximity chat in a game like PlanetSide 2. Speaking of, I forgot to tag Labhammer. You're talking about video games where the open ass end of the internet is playing it. And I'm sorry to tell you, Vaush, that's what you said is a lie. Everyone gets harassed on voice comms. Everyone. Men get harassed, women get harassed, children get harassed. Everyone gets harassed. Now, if you framed your argument as women are more likely to be harassed because when people hear a woman speak on the microphone, it makes them say some really fucked up shit in comments, that is true. However, the unspoken rule of the internet is if you can't fucking take it, don't fucking use it. Some really hard bits in that, Kenny. The reason why I say that is because some of the rules, unspoken on the internet, involve things involving communications on the internet. In things like voice chat. Namely, the Xbox Live lobby rules. I assume everybody here was born in a time period where they had access to the Xbox Live lobby. We all know how toxic the chat can be. We all know how toxic voice comms can be. So, who here remembers the days? Who here remembers the Xbox Live lobby? These games allow you to mute players in lobbies and also in matches. Correct. They also allow you to block the player so they can't also contact your account again. I'm getting pieces of candy stuck in my teeth. But we're all familiar with Xbox Live Lobby. So when Vaush says, if you agree to this, all of these people get harassed, and therefore this is a correct statement, that is a false statement. Because you're starting off with the axiom and the presupposition, minorities and women get harassed on the internet, and therefore voice chat can be harmful. And I get harassed, white men get harassed, Italian men get harassed, everyone gets harassed, Voss. And you know what you do when you don't want to communicate with somebody who's being a nuisance and also useless to your team? When you're playing a competitive game, you mute them. You mute their comms, you mute their mic, you mute their pings, and you play the fucking game. Because competitive players do not give a shit about what other people say on the microphone if it has nothing to do with the goddamn game. Gamers with facts and logic. So, again, Vaush, what you just said is a lie. Why are you lying to the audience?
Essentially, voice chat is a system for upping your game that will systemically exclude more minorities than hegemonic people. If you're trans and you go on voice chat on any game ever, you have been treated like shit. You have been treated like shit.
Here's my question to those trans people in the audience. When you were playing a video game and people harassed you on the mic, what was your first reaction? Did you immediately say, oh my god, guys, stop harassing me? Or did you raise or drop the bass in your voice and start trolling them back? Because if you didn't stand your ground and they continued to get at you, that is your fault. Now, you shouldn't have been attacked. I don't agree if they had called you slurs out of name. But what I'm saying is, you have to learn to stand your ground. Because the gaming environment is a place where everybody gets socially hazed. And you have to learn how to navigate those places and spaces. You have to learn how to ride the waters. You need to be able to wade. And in order to be able to wade, you have to be able to give the shit that you're taking. If you give shit to people, but you can't take it back, you're throwing stones in glass houses. So if they come at you, and let's say it's the 1% of the time where you're not willing to troll them back, and you say, oh, come on, guys, I just want to play the game. You don't even have to say anything. Just mute them. Just block them. The tools exist for you to use. Why aren't you using them? But, well, Carl, it stops me from playing the game. I shouldn't have to... Okay, so stand your ground. But I don't want to have to talk to them, period. Because that's an actual truth of the argument there. There are some people who would say, well, Carl, I shouldn't have to deal with them regardless. I just want to play the game. If you just want to play the game, you would have no problem using the mute function. So what is the actual problem? And the reality is that the argumentation to say, this is a problematic thing, and therefore remove it because it marginalizes me, is actually an argument to say, I can't manage my own emotions, and I can't take control of a situation for myself, so I want the company to do what I say, because my opinion matters more because I'm marginalized and they're not. That's authoritarian. Granted, it's equally authoritarian for you to choose to use the mute and block function and not just communicate and deal with it, but Two different kinds of authoritarian. So, the first thing I would say is be honest with yourself. Because if you're not being honest, I don't know how to help you. I talk shit back. Attaboy, Stefan! Attaboy. Oh man, I can't get over him sped up, ha ha ha. See, I have to I have to speed him up, because I swear, if I let him speak at his normal speed, we're just gonna be here for a while. But again, Vaush, what you said is a lie. Why are you lying?
I know for a fact there are a lot of trans women who I know personally have done the whole, they've heard the whole, hey, are you a boy or are you a girl? Are you a girl? You sound like just a little boy. Hey, what's up with you? What are you? That's like a common experience. Yeah, that happens a lot. And then sometimes it escalates to outright vitriol. Now, mind you, this isn't just trans women. Sometimes women too. Like just all women get like treated poorly. And if you're a dude, hey man, if you're a minority or if you're a trans dude, like hey, there are a lot of people who get maligned in voice chat. Which sucks. We are tired of women. No, I know. Are we all? But Steph's argument here is valid. Those groups of people are systemically discriminated against and excluded from voice chat. So the issue here is that enough of a reason to ban voice chat from games?
Quick thing again. When he says and are excluded from voice chat, that's not actually what's happening. You're just being bullied on voice chat. You're not being excluded from voice chat. If you want to be included in the voice chat, you do the things that I just suggested. You mute them, and you communicate with the people who are going to communicate with you and be about the business. And if they're not going to communicate with you and everybody's just going to do that to you, then you simply don't use the voice comms, and you just use the text comms. And if they are doing that on the voice comms and the text comms, much like anybody is aware, especially in a game like League of Legends, that chose to say, no, we're not going to have voice comms because we consider it to be blanket harassment, and we consider it to be too easy for people to harass people, you report the account. You can do that. You can take screenshots of what they said to you in game, or in League of Legends system, the automated system will usually flag them after a couple of games of being reported by multiple people, and it'll pull up the logs of shit that they said, and the rioter will look at it, and then the rioter will be able to say, yeah, we're just going to take you out of the game entirely. That is another option. There are multiple structures, and there are multiple situations for you to handle what you're doing. You can never say that you're being excluded from voice communications, because in actuality, you're actually being given an invitation. It's just, if your entire viewpoint is, well, I shouldn't have to interact with people who are just demoralizing me, you don't have to. Again, if your entire perspective is that you're being stopped from interacting with something that you would normally use, why are you using public chat in video games any fucking ways? There's the first problem. Because again, this is the problem with the perception of the argument that Vaush is putting forward, and also the perception of the internal argument that Stephanie put forward. Normal people, regular day, everyday people playing these games are not talking to people. They usually have everybody on auto mute. They usually go into game and say /mute all. They don't listen to the allies, and they don't listen to the enemies either, and they just play the game. On top of that, when you start off by saying voice chat is toxic and therefore ban it, and you don't specify that you're talking about voice chat in this system when people are allowed to just use it is bad in a public space, and that's why I don't use public chat when playing quick match, is not the same level as saying I got harassed by my team member while we were at Worlds and no one inside of my professional esports org did anything about it, and I am being excluded from conversations at the org meetings when I bring up this harassment. Those two things are not the same.
No, we can't set back the competitive viability of the entire genre of esports for that. We can't. I don't think so. I don't. I recognize that as a white dude, cis white dude, I'm not going to get made fun of on voice chat. I recognize that, but at the same time, I can't abide that. That seems like such an insane, that would be like getting rid of all stairs because like people in wheelchairs exist. Like you get rid of all stairs and now there can only be like ramps, I don't know if that would be, I don't know if that's a good one. So people got really mad at Ferociously Steph for Ferociously Steph's previously held opinion on voice chat, which was so important apparently that Twitch.
By the way, that opinion I just explained that Stephanie had, that he also explained that she had, that's something from 2018. Or more accurately, the end of 2017 rolling into 2018. However, he also did not bring up the clips of her saying, kill all cops. That's something that happened. Or, excuse me, all cops are bastards. Be accurate. There are plenty of streamers that are cops. So when you say all cops are bastards, you're actually perpetuating hatred against a very, very, very well-targeted minority group. Because tankies love to attack cops. And Vaush is an ANCOM, so... Or does he consider himself ANCAP? I don't know. I don't care to know. The magic of this is that this argument that online you get the luxury of not hearing the harassment, something you don't exactly have IRL. That is correct, actually. Let me get to that one in a moment. I don't even use voice public chat, to be honest. Good boy. But yeah, on the internet, you do have a luxury of being able to control what you choose to hear and what you don't choose to hear. IRL, you don't get that luxury. But let's continue.
She felt the need to include it in her profile on this blog post about the Safety Advisory Board. But that, my friends, is only the beginning of the iceberg. That is just the tip. We are not even close, because the subreddit dedicated to Twitch called Livestream Fails has run with it, has taken issue with the...
That's not what happened. That's not what happened, Vaush. Livestream Fails had multiple... In fact, hold on. Matter of fact, let me just... Don't just take my word for it. Let me just bring up the motherfucker who said it himself. Because again, doesn't matter what I say. So let's get somebody else who's also an expert on this, who had this take, who explained why what he just said is a lie. It might take me a second to get there, but we'll get there. Video's taking too long to load. There we go.
I think that saying, like, I have power and people should be afraid of me should be an immediate disqualifier for any position on advising or giving opinions on anything.
This, by the way, that I'm showing you right now, this is Asmongold. He is a World of Warcraft player, a big streamer, somebody who also would be considered a good pick for the council. And this is his reaction to all of the news. We're skipping a bit ahead in the timeline of events here, but it's important that I put this up here because I need to find the place where he said it here. Because he says it somewhere in these 16 minutes, and I don't know where he said it, so we're just gonna have to watch this on double speed, which would cut that down to about 8 minutes, 9 minutes, but it'll be worth it.
It should have just been out the window at that exact moment.
And I'm not going anywhere. I have power. They can't take it away from me. And honestly, there are some people that should be afraid of me.
Image here talking about the council. Let's see here. Note for a minute about the Safety Advisory Council. Last week, we announced the formation of our Safety Advisory Council, a group of online safety experts and Twitch creators. We thought we brought together to advise on issues related to trust and safety on Twitch. We've since seen a lot of discussion and questions as well as some concerns. I wanted to provide some clarity to help everyone understand our thinking about the council's role and what we're doing next. The role of the council is to advise, offer perspective, and participate in discussions with our internal teams pertaining to the work that we do to help our community safe and healthy. We made an intentional choice to recruit advisors with strong, independent opinions and the courage to challenge our thinking. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty obvious that if he's talking about the deer girl, like, it's obvious like they invited her for like a diversity thing. Like, that's obviously what it was. Like, I hate it whenever they bullshit you. Like, it's so fucking obnoxious to me. Like, I don't know why they would do that. Just say what it is, and that way we can actually talk about what reality is. Right? Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, why do people just make shit up? It's so insulting. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and read the rest of this. Our goal is to hear a wide range of points of view informed truly by different people within Twitch and outside Twitch. Because a position on the council was not just ideology or an endorsement by Twitch on a specific viewpoint, we expect that members of the council will sometimes have very different viewpoints from each other. Or Twitch staff members, or from the official Twitch policy. We recognize that hearing from a diverse set of voices is valuable when creating products and policies that serve our entire community. Well, if that's true, why didn't they have anybody who's been in trouble with Twitch? Like, so if you're saying like one person, and like what I mean by that is, like, where's the antithesis to the deer girl? There isn't one, because that's not what their goal is. It wasn't their goal. If that was their goal, to get completely different perspectives, they would have invited one of the personality streamers onto the whatever you want to call it, onto the council. But they didn't do that because that wasn't their goal. We recognize that hearing from a diverse set of voices is valuable in crafting products and policies to serve our entire community. I don't think that's entirely true. Like, to an extent, it is. But whenever you're hearing from somebody who is a 1% of a 1% of a 1%, right? Is a diverse set of voices somebody who consistently breaks the TOS and like baits racism in chat? That's fundamentally a diverse opinion, but that doesn't mean that it's good. Diverse opinions are not, they do not equal good. And, well, yeah, it's bullshit, man. And when you get extremists, no, it's not about that. It's not. Like, I mean, come on. Okay. We said in our blog post, yeah, like just having a different opinion or thinking something that nobody else thinks isn't valuable. Bacon-flavored ice cream is unique. That doesn't mean that it tastes good or you want it in the store for a diverse option of ice cream for everybody else. Opinions are not all created equal. There are some bad opinions. And that's what the problem is. Like, there aren't actual bad opinions. We sent a blog post, the council advise on a variety of things, from advising on new policies, promoting healthy streaming habits, but we could have been clear about the tasks the council will not be involved with. Council members will not make moderation decisions, nor will they have access to any details on specific moderation cases. They are not Twitch employees, nor do they speak on Twitch's behalf. While we value their opinions and their right to share them, they are independent actors who will have opinions that aren't shared by either Twitch employees, or other members of the council. Nevertheless, we believe that having a diverse viewpoint will make the council and its recommendations stronger and ultimately better for our community. All participants care deeply about Twitch community and want to help make it a better place. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Maybe in their own perspective, but I think that some people just want to use it in order to wield some form of power. Like, that's what it really is. Like, I think that saying, like, I have power and people should be afraid of me should be an immediate disqualifier for any position on advising or giving opinions on anything. It should have just been out the window at that exact moment. Like, that's clearly not something that you say whenever you're in a position of advising. Like, you just don't do that. I feel like, again, like I'm taking crazy pills here. Let me read this here. It's commitment of time and energy for them. We're grateful for the contribution to help us improve Twitch policy. Harassment directed to council members or anyone on Twitch only underscores the importance of the council. Yeah, but like disagreement is not harassment. Like, I agree that like saying a bunch of really bad stuff about somebody is bad. And I don't like that. I don't agree with that. I think everybody should do whatever they want. But disagreeing with somebody or disagreeing with the decision based off of somebody's credibility is not harassment. It's just not. At the heart of the Safety Council, all of our work in Twitch's desire is to foster a safe, inclusive, and creative community among passionate people. As with every community, there are disagreements and different viewpoints. We're committed to considering a diversity of perspectives as we're helping our community safe and open. People are harassing her though, exactly, and they should be banned. I agree. And if anybody's genuinely saying anything like harmful to her, I ban them in my chat too, because I don't support any harassment, but I do support disagreement and discussion. And that's the way that I look at it. I don't like to see anything. It's not a cuck at all. Like I've been very, very consistent about not allowing harassment for people, anybody in my stream. It's something I completely agree with. Well, bullshit? No, I don't agree with any of that. So doubling down, explicitly state the three advisors have no real power. It doesn't matter if they have power or not. The act of empowering them and they're still elevated among other people because they're part of a council of people that Twitch is explicitly listening to. Everybody knew that they didn't have any explicit power, any direct power. It's the act of choosing those people to be the ones who they're listening to. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with the, like anybody thought that like anybody in that council was going to ban people. Like, that's fucking stupid. But this is something completely different. Basically, there's a reason why they're asking these people to do it. And I think that yes, the majority of it is probably a PR move, but there's going to be a bit of it that's actually not. And they will listen to certain people. And whenever you have individuals that are elevated who are talking about people should be afraid of them because they have power now, that makes me uncomfortable. Because I don't think that somebody who says something like that should be in a position of authority. Even if it's not authority, but it's authority by proxy, which is what it really is. This is ridiculous. The fact that this is even a discussion is ridiculous. It's completely insulting to the entire community that they would even make this decision in the first place. And the fact that they would come back around and double down on it is a complete insult. Racist comment was worse. It wasn't explicitly racist. It's more nuanced than that. But it wasn't that it was explicitly racist. It's that if I attributed a negative thing to another group of people, then I would get in trouble. It wasn't explicitly racist, though, I don't think. I don't know. It's like really borderline. Let's see here. Sounds like they're both distancing themselves and doubling down at the same time. Her reaction, role of the council is to advise, offer perspective. They have no power, expected to be honest. Yeah, everybody knew that. I don't know. I feel like that was kind of obvious to me. Can they talk about politics things? Well, listen, this isn't politics at all. This is on our platform. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to have somebody who brags about how much power they have and how much people should be afraid of them in a position where they have the ear of the people who are making decisions about my channel. No, I don't. That's all there is. Like, it has nothing to do with politics at all. Like, if anybody had said this, I think it was bad. It's just completely unacceptable. It is ridiculous that this is even a question. Like, I cannot believe that we live in an age where this is even... Like, if I had gone on the council and I had said that, I'd have been off. They'd 100% took me off. And they should have. Like, if I had said that, they would have taken me off 100%. I really don't like this. I think there's a lot of people that always change their morals based off of what appeals to them. So, like, for example, it could be easier for me to just, like, insult somebody's identity or whatever, but, like, I don't care about that. It doesn't matter to me. So I don't use it whenever it's convenient for me and not use it whenever it's not. I try to be consistent. Obviously, everybody, they don't always achieve that, but I try to do that at least. The message now is that every single decision that Twitch makes is going to be tainted by this. And also, I don't know, there's so many different angles of this, and I think it was just completely mismanaged. And I don't know. I think it's just a mistake. PC culture is evil. It's not really entirely about PC culture. It's also just bad corporate decision making. You see dear girls say people on her channel have no voice. Well, they shouldn't. It's her channel. She should have the complete control and autonomy to decide who says and doesn't say things in her channel. If she wants her channel to be a complete safe space where everybody agrees with her and nobody disagrees, I think she has the complete right to do that, and that's totally okay. Because that's her stream and that's her own decision to do what she wants. I completely agree with that. She doesn't believe the other channel should have the autonomy though. Well, that's really what the problem is that you have people that they don't want to just, they can't settle for just being, controlling their own stuff. They have to go out of their way and control what other people do too, in their own spaces. And that's what I have the problem with. And for you guys to think that this is boring or it won't matter, it will, and it will affect everybody. It's the same as like we've had TOS that's gotten stricter and stricter over time because, you have more and more calls for action about different groups trying to limit each other because they're trying to like play a game of points of like, okay, well, we're going to try to stop you from doing this and, make sure you do that. And it's just, it's such a dysfunctional system. And it was just like a World of Warcraft, everyone. Well, it's not really bad. It's nothing to do really with WoW. I just want this platform to be I want this platform to be a free and creative space, and I feel like people that go on there that want to wield power will wield power in a way that will remove that creativity and that freedom at the expense, or sorry, in the false pursuit of some sort of fairness or justice or, anti-toxicity. When I think actually what they want is just more power. She received a lot of hate for the original LSF Deer Post, consequently went overboard after being inundated with said hate. Well, yeah, but it's not like everything that she had done before that was completely positive. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you that a lot of the posts that were made on LSF were completely over the line. I think that the people that were talking about, if she's a deer, then can we hunt her? I think those people should be permabanned. I think that's absolutely disgusting, even if it's a joke. And I agree with LSF blocking all the posts. I completely agree with all of that.
Let me play that last part for you again. But first,
iceberg. That is just the tip. We are not even close, because the subreddit dedicated to Twitch called Livestream Fails has run with it, has taken issue with the presence of this person on the board.
Even if it's a joke. And I agree with LSF blocking all the posts. I completely.
So, not from me, because I already knew that, because trust me, I've been new. But not even from my words. Bigger streamer. Shouldn't matter if he's a bigger streamer. But since Vaush wants to make that argument, let me go ahead and use that footage. When Vaush says LSF had run it with this, LSF allowed this, Livestream Fails endorsed this behavior, that is a fucking lie. Livestream Fails is 100% something that has a lot of shit happen on it and come out of it. Because one of the things that happens in internet culture, something that Vaush didn't want to talk to you about, because Vaush does not actually engage in internet culture, but that's neither here nor there. One of the things that goes on in Twitch is that Twitch clips get uploaded to places concerning the streamers that they are active with. In most cases, general clips of, gamer bad looks or streamer bad takes get uploaded to Livestream Fails. And it's from those clips that behavior then gets signal boosted to the rest of the internet, because live streams are not archives, right? What I said last night in my podcast, you will be able to go back in the future and look at. It is something that was there to be seen and to be remembered. It will live evergreen on a platform, on my channel. Content produced from a live stream on Twitch is not evergreen if it does not get archived, because archives get removed from your channel over time. They stay if you are a partner or an affiliate or have use of Twitch Prime for at least, I think, a month. Probably 28 days, maybe. It's something more like 30 days, maybe. Sometimes it can stay up for over 6 months. Whereas, if you're someone who does not have any of those things, it can be on there for maybe a week. Point is, the live stream gets removed. What doesn't get removed, however, something that stays around, highlights, clips, and external exports. So, something that has become part of the metagame is when you see something happen, and it's juicy information, or it's juicy details concerning a topic, clip it, highlight it, download the highlight, download the clip, post it to Livestream Fails. That's how that works. Because it's not people going out of their way to find ways to harass people. Because yes, harassment happened. It happened everywhere. It happened on Twitter, happened on Twitch, happened on Facebook even. But none of that is on the fault of the subreddit itself. That is on the fault of the people on that subreddit who said those things. That's the fault of individuals, not entire groups. So, again, Vaush, what you said was a fucking lie. Not only was it a lie, it was a dishonest lie. I saw it, Asmongold saw it, even Kobe Carnage saw it. But we haven't gotten to that other clip of Kobe, but we'll get there. So again, Vaush, why are you fucking lying? Why are you representing these groups that you're trying to label as something other than what they actually are? Who is this for?
So if I go to Livestream Fail, top past week, Twitch staff, by the way, Asmongold's take on the new drama about the deer. There are some people that should be afraid of me. Deer. A lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Wubby goes off on Twitch over deer. Canute being honest about ferociously Steph. Oh, and then we got a non-deer related one. Ferociously Steph assaults Soda Poppin. Non-deer one. Twitch ambassador, by the way. I don't actually know if that one's about the deer or not. Whew. all the top posts from the past week have been about this one girl. And we're going to go over these clips. We're going to talk about that because, boy, Howie, I see brewing on the horizon some serious controversy over this person. This ferociously stuff might actually end up being an instigatory factor in a new awakening of angry gamers. Gamergate 2, possibly. I'm not joking. I actually fear this might be the case. Yes, dear God. Nice.
I fear... Hold on. I need to do the accent.
Comrades, on the horizon, we see coming in the stark green, out there in the smoky haze of the Siberian winter thunderland. Gamergate 2. Prepare yourself. It will not be good.
Nice. Nice one. Very nice. I'm going to go over why people hate this woman so much, and I'm going to explain to all of you why the people who are obsessed with her are dumb idiots who should be finding something better to do with their lives, like getting a college degree, or maybe in some of their cases, finishing high school.
Also, nice insult, Vaush.
Massive content warning to everyone right now.
Start and come back here, maybe. Nice and soft. Down to the back of the head. Maybe down a little bit. What's nice about forest creatures is that they'll sort of give you feedback on your screeches. And they're pretty sensitive to screeches. So screeches in different areas, different reactions from forest creatures.
So, couple of things. Number one, and anybody who's been on my podcast or at least watched my podcast can affirm what I'm about to say is true. Never, not on post, not on mine, and not in any of my tweets, did I ever show any content of what Vaush is showing. So Vaush, baby, why are you signal boosting the fetish of our dear friend here? I know that they put it out there on their own platform. I know that they did that themselves. But Vaush, why did you put this in your video? Why is it here? How is any of this shit relevant? Is it to connect to the harassment? I bet it is, isn't it? I'm gonna give you a guess. The gamers hate the trans deer because they hate having and seeing something so pure and innocent.
For those of you who survived that, welcome back. Hello. Nice. We did it. This was a suicidality test. If you all are still alive, you have a will to cling to life that is unmatched. I didn't survive. So, Ferociously Steph is a furry. But not just any furry. She's a furry. And this is a little bit of an issue. Now, some people have said that she is an otherkin. Other people have said to me that she is not an otherkin. There are tweets which support both sides of that story. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't care. We're going to proceed calling her a furry, okay? That is what we are going to call her. So what you just watched was maybe the cringiest thing on the internet. I would say very, very possibly. There's a decent likelihood that is the cringiest clip on the internet. Really sorry you guys had to see it on this channel. I'm really sorry. So, Twitch
You're not sorry because you showed that to them. I did not choose of my will to subject you to that on my audience because he put that in his video. And if we're going to go with the argument of people should hold responsibility for their platform, hey Vaush, why did you out this? The same. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions because ain't nobody fucking ask questions.
That's fucking wrong, Vaush!
By the way. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in my personal... Okay, so we have to back up a little bit. Ferociously Steph is a Twitch streamer, and like me, another streamer, we do a lot of stuff here on stream that are wacky and unprofessional, okay? I have done little play acting. I have pretended to be a Morrowind character, you know? I've done the... Greetings, traveler. Like, I've done lots of wacky, unconventional stuff here, okay? Wacky and uncharacteristic stuff. I'm having a lot of fun here, okay? That's Oblivion. My bad. I never played either game. Stop, you violated the law. I've done a lot of wacky stuff on here. However, I don't think I've ever done anything approximating this. This feels sexual to me. Now, I know what a lot of people are saying. It's not sexual to have your head scratched. I would argue, I would counter-argue, it is not inherently sexual to have your head scratched. But if you're making deer noises, while the person scratching your head is saying, oh yes, what a forest creature, I would argue that there is, if not a sexual connotation here, at the very least, something which exceeds the realm of normalcy for live streaming.
This again would make me question why you chose to put this on your stream and in your video, Vaush. But, hey, don't let me stop you from doing what you're doing.
Now, do I think she should have been banned for this clip? No, not at all. But it is very uncomfortable. It is very, very uncomfortable. And a lot of people have made the argument that people who behave this way should not be, in any way, shape, or form, a representative for Twitch.
I have not seen those people make that argument. What I've seen people say is, lol, oh my god, this worm is all furry. I'm paraphrasing. That's not how they framed it. But not a single person, not even myself, made that argument. Now, I definitely made an argument that their partner, Lizzie Levita, should be removed as a communicator and should be banned on Twitch. Because if you remember, Vaush, as a streamer, we're supposed to be responsible for the way that we communicate and handle ourselves both off and on the platform. Lizzie Levita told people who were dyslexic, like myself, and other people, and also insulted and ignored and outright fucking trounced entire communities of people who called them out on their shitty behavior when they chose to back up Stephanie's play and say that not only are they right, but all of you are proving why she's right, only to go on and say things such as, and I quote, "Take your dyslexic ass," spelled purposefully wrong, out of my mentions, when called out by dyslexic people telling them that you can't just silence other people's opinions because you don't like to hear them. We, Vaush, have a responsibility to do that both on and off a platform. And, much like how Esmond Gold has already pointed out, and also Cope Carnage, it doesn't matter, because they're being elevated to a position where they have to be forward-facing. And as a person in a forward-facing position, it is behoven to them that they behave in such a way that they do not cause problems of this kind. It doesn't matter whether or not Stephanie did that or did not make that clip. People would have still had a problem if they were propense to be against trans people, to be against furries, to be against otherkins, or whatever group they choose to be a part of. It does not fucking matter what she chooses to do on her stream that has nothing to do with the council, because what she does in the council is what I would be interested in. I'm not interested in her clips. That's why I did not show those clips. I have those clips, but I didn't show those clips, because it's irrelevant. There's nothing in there but an opportunity to say, lol, you're a furry. And I don't see how, lol, you're a furry, is any different from saying, lol, you like hentai. Lol, you have an anime profile. Lol, you like girls. Lol, you think women should be sexy. Bedoofing doesn't discount an argument. That's why I don't do it. You stupid ass. Why would you choose to claim that without showing anything of what you're saying? Now me, I've already shown my evidence. Like, that already exists on my podcast. If you are asking me, well, Carl, I'm gonna need some fucking sources for those jokes you just fucking made, go watch Top Kick number 5. I put them on screen when we talked about the topic. There are timestamps. Regardless of how the fuck you feel, none of that has anything to do with her. If anybody could be held accountable for that, as you, baby. So, the fuck out of here with that. That's bullshit. That is bullshit what you just said.
Okay, that's one argument. Here's another video clip. It will encourage fewer of you to die, but it is something we should watch anyway.
But I'm hanging in there, and I'm not going anywhere. I have power. They can't take it away from me. And honestly, you know, there are some people that should be afraid of me, and that they are, because I represent moderation and diversity, and I'm gonna come for hurtful, harmful people. If you're a really shitty person, I'm gonna stand up against you. Period. And Twitch is endorsing me to do that.
So, just in case any of you guys are curious, if you're put in a position of power in a multi-billion-dollar company, it's probably not a good idea less than a week later to go on stream and talk about how you have power and people should fear you, especially when you are already under an insane amount of scrutiny. That's probably not an excellent idea from an optical perspective. Probably not. Now,
by the way, Vaush did something very underhanded here. Rather than come from the position and say, hey, here's why this doesn't matter, and also, this is a bad take. He has already said the gamers were upset with them, and here's the reason why. And also, this was super fucking cringe, guys. Oh my god, like, dude, I am so embarrassed. Bro, if you survived that, bro. He's attempting to pander to multiple audiences, and he's also trying to cover his bases to protect himself from being attacked for his take. Because if I were to attack his take out of hand and out of pocket without seeing and hearing what he actually said, he could say, actually, I did what I was supposed to do. I tried to make it sure that my audience understood the reasons why people would be attacking them, and I also made my own takes. I am by no way saying that gamers would have done this if they didn't, except that you totally fucking did when you said the gamers were mad at them, the gamers wouldn't like this, they look like an SJW, they look like somebody who they would attack. You propensed and you suggested that the gamers were going to do it anyways, and that this, amongst all of the other examples, would be the reasons why they would attack them, which means you're actually validating the argument that we already heard in the other clip referring to the reply given by Emmett, the CEO of the company, about how they just discounted every single thing said as blanket harassment. That's what you just did. You just co-signed his take without actually co-signing his take. And you did so in 15 fucking minutes. Congratulations. Congratulations, you goddamn snake. Unbelievable. I didn't think it would be possible for a man to suck his own dick that fast, but goddammit, you found a way, Vaush. You fucking found a way.
Now, mind you, and I want to be really clear about this, Ferociously Steph is a progressive. I'm sure you guessed by looking at her, probably. And I probably agree with virtually everything Ferociously Steph would advocate for on Twitch. I do think that Twitch is, for the most part, a toxic shithole. Yeah, 100%. I think that if Steph and I talk, we'd be like, hey, gamers can be kind of fucking wild sometimes, can't they? And she'd be like, yeah, they can. Nya, that's a deer noise. And then I would say, we should do something to reduce problematic toxicity on Twitch. And she would say, or something to that effect. But we would agree. I think we would agree, for the most part. And for that reason, and I want to make this perfectly clear, I do not have a problem with Ferociously Steph. On a personal level, I don't. I'm in no way, shape, or form morally condemning her in any way, shape, or form. At all. Not even slightly. So let's keep that in mind as we continue with this specific discussion.
I'm just not cool with white supremacy, y'all. It's really not that. I think a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Sorry. Just a fact of how I feel, which is nothing.
Do you guys remember how just a few days ago I had a conversation on stream about how certain types of behavior are appropriate in some contexts but not in other contexts with regards to Joshua for Congress? How it's okay for me to say, yeah, dude, abolish the CIA, fuck it. But if I was a congressperson, you probably wouldn't want me to go up there in the halls of Congress and say, abolish the CIA, dude, yeah, fuck it. And the reason for that is because people who are representative of different positions need to conduct themselves in different ways to maximize the positive outcome that we get from those interactions. So me doing that nonsense here on stream is fine because I have no institutional power. I'm just a silly leftist, crazy socialist, wacky dude.
I get really tired of hearing people argue about power versus privilege equals oppression. But since you bring it up, Vaush, I'm gonna let you finish.
My dudes, nothing to fear here. But if a congressperson says that, it makes them look like a fucking lunatic, right? So, Ferociously Steph, is it wrong to say a lot of gamers are white supremacists? Well, take a look at my content if you want an answer to that. The answer is it's not wrong. But is it ineffective to, as a highly despised representative of Twitch, say the same thing? Yeah, it is. It really, really is. And that's the issue.
So, Vaush suggests that all gamers are white supremacists. Now, I'm one to say, white power. But no. All gamers, not even a lot of gamers, not even a high amount of gamers, are white nationalists. And I'm air quoting white nationalists because that's not what Steph's saying there. What Steph is saying is she's saying chud. What he's saying, what Vaush is saying is Stephanie's right because you see, my content shows that gamers are chuds. They are nasty fucking people. And Stephanie, their opinion is correct because I agree with it because I've seen evidence to support this. But you didn't show anybody that evidence in this audience. So, when you say gamers are white supremacists, both of you, where? How? Why? Is it like the same accusation you threw at Count Dankula when you called him a white nationalist, and then you went on to Faraday Speaks, and you could not actually communicate and deliver any information to confirm or deny, but it was outright denied. You didn't have anything about how Dankula was a white supremacist, or a white nationalist, or how he had ties to white nationalism. How you called out by name his friends, like Sargon, other people, like Lennon Yaxley, better known by the name of Tommy Robinson. When you called them out by name and you said, but you associate with them, you do these things, are you prepared to have and hold that L if it gets applied to you? More importantly, when you said those things, did you produce any evidence? No. You just produced tweets. You produced tweets that out of context can mean anything as long as you frame them that way. And that's bullshit. Like, you can say, but the gamers are white nationalists, Carl. I don't believe you. Because I'm not stupid. Because again, that's an axiomatic presupposition. If I were to believe your suggestion that a lot of, if even some, could outright be Nazis, white supremacists, white nationalists. If I assume that to be true, more than likely, there are more gamers that are against them than there are gamers that are even generally applicable to them, if not in support of them, if not actually part of them. And therefore, when somebody says, I think y'all are just white supremacists, and I look at that and I see a chat full of people just asking questions like, I don't think you're right on that because I disagree with you. That disagreement is not harassment and is not also license for harassment to be slung at the people who are disagreeing with them. Disagreement is fine. If she wants to ban them from her space, Stephanie, she can do that. If she doesn't, she doesn't. If she does, she does. It is what it is. Regardless of that, furthermore, attaching to what you have already seen from Asmongold, for you to then label those people as a part of a group that they're not, to discount their opinion, is the exact same as what Twitch just did. Once again, Vaush, you just said that their opinions are deserving of being ignored because you say they're a part of something that they're not. You can't prove that. Because that is a gross generalization of an entire group. I could do the same thing to you. I could do the same thing to Stephanie. But I'm not. Because I understand that you are individuals separate from the whole. You don't seem to want to give that a credence to anyone else. Interesting.
Issue fundamentally that we're getting at here. So I'm going to make a few claims here sequentially, and I think all of these are pretty inarguable. The first one is that ferociously Steph probably should not be on this council. I will argue why this is the case for several reasons. First of all, she does not seem to be particularly professional. From the weird head scratch stuff here to the like I guess kind of juvenile behavior, like the like dear girl kind of thing. I just don't get the impression that the way that she conducts herself is really like very productive in that respect.
False. Example, myself. Any person who knows the content that I post on the internet is highly irreverent. More importantly, the people who know how I decide to communicate with people is usually through hot bants. Is my hot banter a representation of who I am as a person? No, it is not. I could say some spicy shit right now and mock Vaush right now because of what I did. In fact, if you looked at the actual thumbnail of this video, you might have noticed that that is a thumbnail of Vaush and his partner. The picture which that comes from is let's just say it's a spicy image that for Vaush's sake I hope he removed from the platform, because if that VOD is still on his channel, his account can get taken down because of a violation of nudity on Twitch. I'm just saying, you know, since you're a streamer who's aware of the rules, like you say you are. But no, Stephanie should not be invalidated from being on the council because they are furry in their meantime. I don't care. Well, the reason why I say that is a perfect example. Let's say Stephanie was the only non-furry on the council, and the council was made up of nothing but furries, and they all have fursuits, and they all gift twice on the weekends, and 3 times on Sunday. Would that invalidate them from being on the council if they do some freaky shit in their personal life? No, it doesn't, because none of that shit has anything to do with the fucking council. Why would I give a shit about what she does outside of the sense of the council if she's not raping children? That's the only time I would care. If they're doing illegal shit and they are doing things that violate the terms of service, and it's not that they were a spicy streamer who did some shit like Ice Poseidon, but they were actually, you know, doxing people and maliciously attacking people and using their platform to try and attack people in a way that would remove their sponsors. You know, any of the things that somebody like Pokimane just did. That would be what would cause me to have some pause. But not this shit. This isn't even close to cringe. You haven't even touched the fingernail of the tip of an iceberg of what kind of cringe would make me suffer. How this affects you, somebody who's supposed to be a part of the internet culture, is actually more examples and proof of how it's more important for her to be on that council so she can learn about internet culture and reasons why you should probably not be on that council. Because You understand what it is you're saying and what you're doing. I see what you're doing because I know what you do. I know I am aware of your content. Other people might not be. So when you put up this framework where you try to explain how gamers are actually toxic trolls and Nazis, and you just, leave out those key details that would show what you're saying is a falsehood, because people who actually are a part of that would be able to say that's bullshit. I kind of have to question what your motive here is. What are your fucking motives, Vaush? Again, I'm just asking questions. Ain't nobody asked any. I dropped a piece of candy here somewhere. I don't know where it is. I'll look for that later.
So that's one issue. The second issue is that she does not seem to have much self-control, because anybody in a position of prominence should be making incredibly reasoned statements. Very calm, very collected statements. A proper way of phrasing both of these things would be, here, I can rephrase both of these ones. The first one, where she says there's some people who should be afraid of me. Here's what she actually sort of said. Watch this. I understand there are some people who are worried about my presence on the council, but you shouldn't be, I don't think, because I'm only really concerned with mitigating toxicity. If you're on this platform to hurt or bully other people, then maybe you should be a little worried, but only because, frankly, I think that type of behavior is unacceptable. But at the end of the day, I'm always of Twitch. I'm not above anyone else on Twitch. That could be the first one. And the second one here, a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. She could have said something like, hey, hello there. I do think that there are some issues with racism and white supremacy here in this platform. I think there are problems like that everywhere, but this is the platform that I care about, and honestly, I just want to make sure that people don't feel as though they're being discriminated against based on their race. I feel like every gamer should agree fundamentally with that. There.
Wonderful. Wonderful. A twist, double axle, into a springboard corkscrew, into a triple backflip. And you stuck the landing, Vaush. Wonderful. Now let's discuss how that's some bullshit. What she said is what she said. This idea of cool, calm, and collected statements, yeah. People who are usually cool, calm, and collected would be seen as rational and reasonable, which is the reason why you're trying to explain this in the cool, rational, and reasonable way that you do. But that's not what gamers respond to, Vaush. It's not. People, in general, normal people, and especially others who have that kind of red-blooded passion, they respond to people who are honest. They are honest and earnest. They respond to people who might have said some really spicy shit, but the energy behind what they said was based not in hatred, but in passion for what they have. You can try and reframe the argument however the fuck you want to make it sound more reasonable, but what you just demonstrated is exactly how to be somebody who engages in corporate AIDS piggery. That is corporate AIDS piggery. AIDSPIGGERY. If you don't know what AIDS piggery is, look it up. It's on Urban Dictionary. Trying to find ways to recontextualize how bad things sound, make them sound innocuous, is just you telling me that you understand about how to play this optics game. And in full disclosure, so do I. But that's because I actually had a job in social media management. I understand about how to spin shit. So, no, you ain't spinning that shit, Jack. Take that shit off my turntable. We only allow the best funk in this house. On top of that, more important to the point of you being full of it, as I said, gamers respond to passion. And most people, when they hear somebody say, you should be afraid of me, I have power, will be more responsive to the fact that when you say, you have no power, you can't stop me, Twitch is endorsing me, I'm just gonna laugh at your tears, and I'm going to remove you. If you're a shitty person, I'm gonna take care of you. When somebody says some statements like that, that kind of perks my ears up. Because I want to know why they think they have the ability to be above the council. Why do they think they're above the law? I don't think I'm above the law. I think I skirt the lines of the law, but I know how the rules work. And so do you, Vaush. You know how this game is played. So why are you pretending? What are your fucking motives? What are you doing? What are you doing, homie? What's good, fam? Explain to me what the fuck you're on. Because I don't understand what you're on. Are you drinking that good?
I don't know what noises deer make. I think deer scream, don't they? Like, like that. Like that's what deer do, I think. Don't deer like they do that? I just didn't want to do that. Yeah, I think that's what deer do. She should not be on there.
Now, if we're going to go full id poll and make the assumption that Twitch included Ferociously Steph because Ferociously Steph is a trans progressive person, which I think is likely considering the fact that she did not have a particularly large audience and does not seem to have any professional credentials relating to this job beforehand, then I think the best possible...
Let's play it again, but play that at normal speed.
If we're going to go full id poll and make the assumption that Twitch included Ferociously Steph because Ferociously Steph is a trans progressive person, which I think is likely considering the fact that she did not have a particularly large audience and does not seem to have any professional credentials relating to this job beforehand, then...
Vaush, you just made the argument that I just made earlier, and yet I was able to come to that conclusion before you, on my own, in my own time, by my own thoughts and opinions, before I ever went on a broadcast, and before I ever joined a podcast panel to discuss this topic. And you explained it as though what you just said was more valid because they were a part of a minority group. One more time for the people who missed it. I want you to listen really, really close to what he just said here.
He should not be on there. Now, if we're going to go full id poll and make the assumption that Twitch included Ferociously Steph because Ferociously Steph is a trans progressive person, which I think is likely considering the fact that she did not have a particularly large audience and does not seem to have any professional credentials relating to this job beforehand, then I think the best possible person that they could have put in this position would have been Lumi Rue. This is my bias speaking, as Lumi is a friend of mine and I value their content very much, but Lumi is a very disciplined, professional, gender non-conforming person who I think would have done an excellent job representing this position. Now, this is making the assumption that we're going full id poll here. You know, like, oh, we need a trans person in this slot. I think it's a little bit condescending to look at it that way, but if we are looking at it that way, I would choose Lumi. The main issue is at this point, there's no way for Twitch to back out. Twitch can't fire, or I guess let go of Ferociously Steph, because if Twitch does do that, it's going to be blown up in the larger media as trans woman put on safety council, removed by Twitch after toxic fan backlash, which would be...
Again, I'm of the opinion of not removing Steph from the council. So, barred the id poll standard, I'm actually more woke than you. Get on my level, bitch. But he's not wrong in what he just said. Because if you are unaware, I will show you. Oh, there's the wrong one. God damn it, it's in the goddamn blog post. Oh, I hate that it doesn't come up in normal searches. There we go. Just to show you, if you were not aware. On top of harassment directed at council members, earning on Twitch underscoring the importance of why they should be on the council. More importantly, Twitch's corporate position in this post from Emmett Till himself. Not Emmett Till. I don't remember what Emmett's last name is right now. Not important. From Emmett himself. This entire blog post is a whole bunch of corporate wokeism. Okay? And the reason why it's important to mention that is because let's get super cynical. Right? Like, let's get super fucking cynical. Based on the information I just gave you, Stephanie Laura is an ADL plant who has ties, direct ties, as a contributor to the Anti-Defamation League. They are friendly and are publicly friendly with somebody who is well known for pushing for the agenda of getting places to behave in certain ways, because when you're a front-facing company like Twitch, and you have rules in other countries that you need to advise to adhere to the standard of not having and not allowing, and making sure you do an active effort to come forward and say that you are against things like harassment and bullying and shit like that, it is behoven upon you to at least create an initiative to show that you're trying to do something. There is no actual need, there is no actual basis, there is no actual proof that you need to show that you have actually solved the problem. Just that you helped try to stem the bleeding. With this in mind, including all the shit that I've shown you, and including what Vaush has mentioned, I'm going to posit to you 3 scenarios. And I want y'all to just vote on your own opinion which one you think is more likely. Scenario 1. And this is important too, especially if you're aware of Lizzie Levita. Most of you don't need, probably won't be, because a lot of people that are covering this are only focusing on Stephanie. I made the decision and choice to focus on both of them, because both of their opinions and both of their actions paint a very perfect picture of exactly what the fuck this note from Emmett means for the company. And it's in agreement with what Asmongold said. Situation 1. A transgender contributor of the ADL is pitched to the upper echelons of Twitch because they, on top of being an ADL contributor, are a marginalized person on the platform. And along with other streamers who are familiar with the culture of Twitch, will be an invaluable resource to help discuss how they can better service the upper, the middle, and the lower tiers of streamers, and also combat the ongoing and ever-evolving world that the live streaming industry has become, and how people can conduct themselves in both sincere and also professional manner concerning their habits and their ways of discussing. This person has clips of themselves indulging in their fetish with their partner. Something that they chose to project onto the stream, something that they chose to put on the stream period, and that they chose to also not delete the VODs and clips about. This information being out there, before they get involved in the council, are not prepped on what would be happening the moment that they would be announced as a part of a forward-facing council. And, after the internet and Twitter does its thing, said council member finds themselves amassed, swamped, absolutely ass-blasted by the open-ass end of the internet and all toxicity that comes with it. The person interacts poorly. Their partner interacts poorly. Twitch, seeing that this behavior happens, pull both of them indoors. Stephanie, get your shit together. You need to stop saying that shit. You are pissing off the people who are a part of our demographic and base. Lizzie, why are you denigrating people on the internet? Why are you harassing them? You are endorsed by us. Both of you are. Get your shit together. Delete your tweets. Don't delete your tweets. Go play. A streamer comes back. Well, I had my first meeting at the Twitch offices. Or I had my first meeting with Twitch. Here's what my actual job role entitles. And here's a whole bunch of other corporate jargon that they said to us. Other person is still blocking their account by locking it on Twitter. And the company puts out an advisory council notice from the CEO themselves about how everyone cares deeply about the community and how they want to try and make it a better place. However, we don't want to listen to the people who had opinions that we consider to be harassment, because them disagreeing with us and also attacking a person in the same breath means that they're not worth listening to. That's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2. Stephanie Lord, contributor to the ADL. To quote Vaush's own words, an SJW type, posits to the ADL Hey, you know how 4chan constantly baits the shit out of us by making up hoaxes that aren't real? What if we start up one of our own? The ADL is pondering what they're pondering. So I'm being texted. Why am I being texted? Oh my fucking god, she's doing it again. I'll get to that in a second. Get back to where I was. The ADL is pondering what she's pondering. And when they bring it up to Twitch, Twitch is pondering what they're pondering. And so, Twitch intentionally picks up the ADL contributor. Because the game plan is to get gamers to attack them. The gamers take the bait. The gamers attack and denigrate and insult and mock Stephanie. They say nasty words to her. They call her Troon. They harass them because of their voice. They harass them because of their looks. They harass them because they like to go to scratching down behind the ear. And when this trap has sprung, and the efficacy of the trap has been unwitnessed by their own eyes, they read a blog post. All of those people engaging that harassment, we're not concerned with them. And so Stephanie, whether they were acting or not, gallivants and rides into the wind, madly cackling that they did it. They pulled off the heist of a century. They got the gamers to do what they want, which was shoot themselves in the fucking foot. Or, that's number 2. And finally, number 3. Stephanie Lore and Lizzie Levita choose of their own volition to make their separate I'm being texted again. They both choose of their own separate interactions to make the mistake of their own volition. They say stupid things. They say stupid statements. Factually inaccurate. Wrong, even. People call them out as wrong. The argument. People attack them. But instead of stopping themselves and choosing to not engage with the negative element, and instead talk to the people who are simply disagreeing, that they do not believe that it is what it is, instead of saying things like, you're not of a marginalized group, therefore you wouldn't understand what it feels like as a trans person to be spoken to like this, rather than do the smart thing and not to do that, they do that. And the walls start closing in. They start feeling the pressure turn on. They feel like they're being isolated. They feel like they're being attacked. And so, they get a bit spicy. They say some things that they really don't mean. Or maybe they say some things that they do mean. Because, you know, when you corner an animal, they kind of say things and they kind of do things to try and protect themselves. Because if you back anybody in a corner, they're likely to wild out. Right? Right. And by the way, in case anybody looks back at that and says, oh! When I say animal, I'm not saying that Stephanie is an animal. Unless that's actually what they want me to say to them, in which case, you are the best animal. However, while being backed up in a corner and saying stupid statements, Twitch is doing their best impression of Tigger. Which is to say, what are you doing? You can't say that! Oh my god! No! And so, 2 transgender people, one a Twitch ambassador, and the other a member of a diversity hire, Because I can actually say that. Because remember, that's Vaush's opinion. I'm just saying what Vaush said. One an ambassador and one a diversity hire for the council. Both of them having behaved badly, have the cynical woke corporation play the long con and say, actually, all of y'all are just harassive monsters, and the behavior that you showed here to this woman is the reason why they need to be on the council. That's number 3. Which one of those do you think is more likely to be what happened here in this situation? There's always the 4th option, which could be that any prediction I just made is wrong, and that's totally not what happened. But having seen things with my own eyes, I'm going to make my own assumptions based on the evidence that I have gathered. Because unlike Vaush, I don't have to go to the same places to go find these clips of people. I instead can go out there and go search for them like an actual reporter. Not to say that I am a reporter, but in this capacity, I am indeed reporting on this situation as though it were a news story that is worthy of being covered, and that is exactly what I am doing. So, to that edge, when you say now she's a diversity hire, therefore she shouldn't be on the council because she doesn't look like she has much experience, you are directly saying that, therefore, small streamers that don't look like and don't seem like they have the numbers to support their reason on the council have nothing of value to contribute. And that, my friend, Vaush, is wrong. You're not my friend, but that's wrong, Vaush. There is multiple perspectives that we could learn from Stephanie, even if I consider them to be wrong on voice chat, because they're not on the council to discuss the efficacies of voice chat. They're on the council to discuss the efficacy and the reasons why Twitch culture may or may not play into the ideas and reasons why people get banned. Their job is to have an open ear and an open mind, to discuss the reasons why they should or should not advocate for something and why they can and cannot advocate for something, in the viewpoint of the world that they operate in, the same world you and I live in, the real one, where people interact with each other and don't live in Fantasyland. You and I are supposed to be able to have that discussion where we are all adults and we can sit down and discuss a topic without ever having to bring up whether or not they are or not qualified. Because even though there are such things as bad opinions, the job of a council is to discuss amongst themselves and come to that understanding. If she sits on the council and she is willing to learn, she is willing to listen, she is even willing to admit that she is wrong, I would see reason on why she could and could not be a good fit. Because neither Stephanie or Lizzie Levita apologized for the things that they chose to say in their interactions on the internet. So, you're gonna have to do better than just saying, well, they don't seem qualified because, you know, they're not speaking the way they should. They're not being very corporate. They're not acting very mature. Because, again, I'm maudlin and irreverent, and I'm even mocking you in the thumbnail of this video. But I can still rebuke the shit that you're saying by simply being myself. That does not represent who I am, and I'm almost certain that that clip there does not represent everything of what Stephanie is, although it's a little close. I'll even go as far to say that if you were to put them in front of me, or even put them across from me, over the digital Idlewild, on a camera, on a live stream, I would repeat every single fucking thing that I said about them so far, in my reporting, and in my coverage of this, as I'm saying here now. And man alive, I would be able to get away fine with what I said, because I said nothing attacking them personally, because I have no problem with them personally, just their points and just their arguments. You, Vaush, you're willing to cut them off because they had a bad take, and they had bad optics, and they make you look bad. Because again, you're throwing them to the wolves. All of that gobbledygook that you said earlier, you're throwing them to the wolves. You're saying, goddamn, You know, if I were them, this is what I would say. What you're actually saying is that even though her passion was a misstep, let's call it a misstep. Even though her statements were a misstep, that is more than enough to remove her. The reason why I say she should be on there is because even if she's wrong, she's passionate. She shows passion in what she believes in. And even if I consider it to be the wrong kind of opinion, I can be willing to respect that they care about what they're saying. That they believe what they say. You, Vaush, I don't believe what you're saying. I also didn't believe what Levita said, especially when they tried to apologize for their shitty behavior. They said what they said in their apology because they knew that they made multiple missteps that will be used against them. And you, Vaush, demonstrated already in this clip, in this video, multiple examples of how you would restructure and spin what happened. Which tells me that you probably have no passion behind the things that you say, because you're more than willing to flip-flop on ideas and takes to find ways to, subterfuge the shit out of things. I mean, it's possible for you to have a statement where you can find ways to agree and disagree with what they said, 100%. But, you're literally just throwing them to the wolves here. So, you're full of it. I mean, you can say the words all the fuck you want, Vaush, but if there is no conviction behind them, what's the use in saying the words?
Optics poison for Twitch. The thing that I would hope for more than anything else would be that Ferociously Steph, unfortunately, after all the harassment she's received, would step down from her position, simply saying she didn't feel she was the right pick for the job. If she did that, it would be sad because she would be bullied off that position, but it might also be the most amicable resolution to that problem possible. There are no good routes from here on out. There are only bad paths forward. Some paths are worse than others. Because as long as she is in this position, she is a magnet for hate. An absolute magnet. An absolute fucking magnet. Pay Money Wubby and Critical have already begun making videos that have gotten let's see, Deer, yeah, here we go. If you YouTube search Deer, you get her, not Deer. That's pretty crazy, huh? You spell Critical is like that? Is that how we do it? Twitch Safety Council controversy, nearly 1 million views. Oh yes, how about we take a look at our favorite cowardly friend over here. Based Elon Musk, very nice, very nice. And then we got...
Favorite cowardly friend. Look at all these people who are talking about the same topical subject. They're talking about topical subjects, guys. That means they're fucking Nazis. Vaush, are you a dumbass? I know you're probably going to answer no to that, but are you a dumbass? Because what you just said is a head-ass statement, my friend. People making content about a topical topic does not make them responsible for the supposed harassment that comes. And again, thank you for proving my point. You don't actually care about them being on the council. You care about them being on the council because they optically hurt you. Because until you actually clarify what you mean when you say these things, I'm going to assume that you're saying them because you choose to say them because they hurt your position. If you want to say that, hey, she's a fellow ally, therefore I agree with her opinions because I agree with her opinions, because I agree with her, because she's like me, and she's on my side, that means you have to throw her away when she makes bad takes and say, yeah, that was a bad take. But at the same time, you cannot turn around and say, and therefore, everybody who's talking about this topic, they are responsible for creating and involving and also inciting more harassment towards her. Because as long as she's there, they're just going to make content about her and they're going to target her. That's the same argument that Lacking Saint used to try and discuss argumentation against Chris Raygun. Because Chris Raygun is one of the many people, including me, who are going to make content about this. And Vaush himself is a person who said, oh my god, I'm going to just see a lot of this woman's face around, aren't I? Hey Vaush, here's an idea. If you don't want to see her face around in the content, you can not look. You're not going to not do that because this is what you do for attention, but you could not look. If you say, hey, you guys that make content about this, you're contributing to this. You could have not talked about it. Because by your own logic, and the same logic as somebody like Lacking Saint, you're actually doubling down exactly the point against what you're saying you should do. Because if they're responsible for it, that also means you're responsible for it. You know, 72k views is a drop in the bucket against a million views. And whatever views my live stream here is going to have is an even smaller drop in that bucket. But, this is a conversation that's happening all over the internet because of the fact of how it's going to affect the industry moving forward. Now, you're not incorrect. Them being in that position is going to make them an easy target for harassment. Which is why I would behoove anyone here who's listening to my voice to not do that. I'm not saying don't criticize them. I'm saying don't be a fucking idiot. Don't attack them and insult their gender. Them being transgender has nothing to do with them being on the council and making their opinions matter more or less. It shouldn't. If they were white, if they were gay, if they were lesbian, especially if they're trans, and if they were some interdimensional fuckboy like myself. Doesn't matter. They're there. We have to accept it. It's too late. The action has already been done. I wasn't involved with the decision. I won't be involved in the decision. My opinions won't really hold credence over it, I don't think. So, at the end of the day, if you're going to take the angle of saying, and therefore, because they made content, they're responsible for this, you kind of have to be the first one to take responsibility there, Vaush. You're the one who said it. Lead by example, baby.
Twitch gets woke. Look at that. Look who it is. If you want to go, you can find literally hundreds of videos on her right now, one of which I am about to make. I'm currently making that video. Critical's take was okay. Critical seemed to me like a far more reasonable person than many of the other types. So Critical actually said a good thing. That's actually really good to hear. I'm actually really, really happy about that. Okay, I'll check the video out later, but if that's the case, I'm actually very happy about that.
Also, fun. He didn't even watch Critical's video before he made that statement. I actually watched Critical's video. I also watched Chris's video. I watched a lot of videos. You can't see here. There's a watch later tab that's just filled with things talking about this. I have Asmongold TV's reaction channel. I've got Timcast. I've got Richard Lewis. I've got Vaush in here. I have multiple takes from Streamer TV and Twitch Media. I've got a COD Daily about whether or not it's worth debating BreadTube, which is what brings me here to even talk about you, Vaush, somebody who's been going around looking for an opportunity to try and get bucks off of people by outrage marketing. But yeah, I've looked at a lot of angles and a lot of takes on this. And regardless of whoever is talking about it, that doesn't matter. People are going to have opinions, Vaush. There's nothing you can do to stop that other than trying to lobby that their voice should be taken away and removed. So what are you actually saying, sir? Moving on.
At the end of the day, this is a fact. We all share a collective interest in making Twitch, making gaming, making the internet, making everything more progressive, more reasonable, less harmful, less bigoted. We all care about that.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't care about that. You care about that. And I don't care about your values. I don't care about your values at all. In fact, my argument is that we should do none of those things. Vaush, the internet should not be corporatized. It should not be sanitized. It should not be plastered and wrapped in bubble wrap. We should not be living in bubbles where nobody interacts outside of their group and everybody's in a safe space. Because that, Vaush, is not what the internet's about. That is not in the spirit of people discussing things. What people should do, if they're on Twitch, is be very aware of exactly the same kind of environment that they would be inside of when approaching college. Technically any place in life, but especially in places where you are unfamiliar with things. You're gonna see some shit that you're not used to. You're gonna hear some opinions that you probably wouldn't have expected to hear. And no matter fucking what, you have to accept that these things are gonna happen. There's nothing you knew about them saying it. You can't silence them unless you attack them. And if you're gonna attack them to silence them, that kind of means you're not capable of standing the position and standing the slings and arrows, now is it? If Stephanie shows out to be an overly authoritarian asshat, that remains to be determined. And, especially on the basis, because it needs to be said, so I'll say it right now, of the targeting of people. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're dead center. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, transgender, undecided, in between, or undisclosed. I do not care if you are straight. I do not care if you are gay. I do not care if you bend here. I don't care if you bend that way. I do not care what you do in your homes. I do not care what you do on the phone. I do not care what you do on Twitter. I do not care what you do with her. I do not care about any of the dug shit that y'all choose to involve yourself in. As long as it does not personally affect me, I don't give a shit. Therefore, again, what Stephanie does in her privacy does not affect me. What you, Vaush, do within your privacy, with your, I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption wife, if she's your girlfriend. I don't care what you do with your partner, where you're taking VODs on your stream, and you're not capable of understanding, hey, maybe wear a shirt on the platform when you're making a recording. And hey, maybe don't have your partner walk through the frame in a robe on the platform. I'm not arguing for you to sanitize your stream. I'm just arguing you to put on some fucking clothes. I'm also arguing that when dealing with the internet, be expectant that you're gonna have to expect the unexpected. Accept that shit's gonna happen. And that you have to accept if you'll be okay with it. That's it. I think that's a pretty fair statement to say. I think that's pretty reasonable. You just expect that you may not get everything you want. Try to understand that there are some things that are untamed. Especially if you're somebody who claims that you're a streamer. If you're a streamer and you actually want to see the internet be sanitized, you and I do not have the same philosophy, my friend. You cannot sanitize the internet. It will be untamed. No matter where you go, in the unchained and the fun parts of the internet, conversations and behaviors will still keep happening. You can't stop it from happening, Vaush. It's like Asmongold said. It kind of just feels like you're trying to make a grab for power here. And that's kind of reasonable considering you know how to play the game. And hey, if you know how to play the game, so do I. Let's go. Let's do it. But I bet you it's not going to work out the way you think it will. Because people kind of don't like it when other people try to take away their fun. And I'm not saying, yo, harassment's fun. But what I am saying is, people making jokes, people making memes, people having spicy buns, kind of not the same thing as what you just said.
That ferociously Steph does too. But if we are to do that, we should engage in those efforts without forming any incendiary beacons that gamer hate can be organized around. That is really, really important. That is very, very important. For example, and this is an example that I gave yesterday on stream. Do I want to give the example I gave yesterday on stream because it was an exceedingly edgy example? Fuck it. Okay, so follow through with me here on this one, okay? Let's say we have a school that has a racism issue. It's a high school, it's in the inner city, black folk, white folk there, a lot of tension between them, you know, and what the school is going to do is they're going to appoint an anti-racism resource counselor to try and like mitigate the racial tensions in that school. And so what they do is they hire Tyrone Big Dick. And Tyrone Big Dick is a black man who wears pants down low and has grills and what have you. And as an anti-racist, I'm sure that all of us can agree that there's nothing inherently wrong with any of those things. And if you think there's anything wrong with that, I would encourage you to question why you personally take issue with the existence of black men who present the way in which I just described. Admittedly, Big Dick isn't a super popular last name, but anyway. And
That depends on how you spell it. Is it spelled Tyrone Big Duck? Or is it pronounced Tyrone Bidoc? Because if it's pronounced Tyrone Bidoc, and he happens to come from Seattle and has 2 white adopted parents, and he wears grills, not because he's a rapper on the weekends, but because he wants to try to ingratiate himself to the kids on the first day of being elected on the council, well, I mean, shit! Tyrone Bidoc, welcome aboard, my buddy! You know, you're right, that is a shit example, Vaush, so I'll give you a better one. Let's say I'm a person who is well known as a spicy streamer on a platform, and the platform that I'm on is well known for having people who like to use a position to attack other streamers. And so, to try and stem the tide and the flow of, let's say, the hatred against the gamer girl, I appoint a council full of women, and maybe 3 of them, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe all of them are Twitch Thoughts. And on that council of Twitch Thoughts, they get attacked for being Twitch Thoughts. And I come out and say, and this is the reason why I need to have this council, because we have so much hatred against Twitch Thoughts here on the platform that I need to form this council to make sure that we can be able to stem the tide of this kind of behavior. That is the kind of thing that you just said. Here's how that actually works out. The situation that we're in right now, concerning Stephanie herself. Just Stephanie lore, not her partner, and the things that her partner did. If we have a council full of experts, and also full of other streamers who are very aware of how the Twitch community works, Cobb's take about, I respect the right for you to try to design and make the kind of show and the kind of stream that you want. I'm going to be the kind of person who will try to defend that. And in reality, if I defend that and the person turns out to just be a raving lunatic that spouts racial epithets at everybody else, I can eat the L on them possibly not being a good fit. Outside of that, I will fight for their ability to try to speak for what they do, because to silence them would actually be the worst kind of situation that I could want to have. Because not only do I value the person's opinion on the individual level, I respect the idea that people from the community which they are from could be recognized as being useful, and also being capable, and also being cognizant, and also being more intellectually capable. I think I said capable twice, but more intellectually inclined to describe to me things that I don't see in their community that is not immediately obvious from the outside looking in. And they, being from the being on the outside looking in, or in this case, from the inside looking out, because they are not exposed to internet culture on a wide scale, or in your scenario, if the big titty hot fucking counselor that has always been in the school, if she does not see eye to eye with Tyrone Bedok, and they can't discuss the efficacies of policy in the school because they're too busy arguing about what would be the best way to handle the optics of discussing it, they kind of make themselves incapable of arguing what they're talking for. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help me. They spend too much time worrying about how they should present things rather than just doing shit. I know those Goobergays have done a hate crime against us. Why is the first example of black person to be Tyrone to these white guys? I don't know, Stefan. I don't know. But if you turn in later to the Blackface podcast as we read Whitney Ryan's Black Nation series, you might be able to learn. I'm just saying. You want to get gold grills? Hey, what up? Hello, Del Krakow. How you doing? Councils are for commies. You're right. Theater Carl. Love to stream. No problem, dude. Gamergate 2. Dear hunting Boogaloo. Shame. Shame. But yeah, in your example of Tyrone Bedok, a polo wearing capri khaki man, I don't see how that would stop anything from really working, Vaush. I think that's a bad example.
And this Tyrone Big Dick, very, very, very intelligent, academically very aware of systemic racism, cares a lot about mending the divides in the school, so on and so forth. Like, we're talking like a really, really accomplished person who's named Tyrone Big Dick and who has grills and the pants sag low and what have you. Do you think that the intentions and credentials of this person are that important when the optics of their presence there are going to prevent others from listening to them?
It wouldn't. Because if he was even naked, it wouldn't make a difference. Although a naked person in school wouldn't matter. But again, it's the point that I just made. No matter how you dress up the opinion, no matter who's delivering the opinion, if the words are important, the words matter more than the person who delivered them. End of. Oh, backed up too much.
Mitigate the racial tensions in that school. And so what they do is they hire Tyrone. I was waiting for a chat answer, but I guess I'll just go.
and what have you. Do you think that the intentions and the credentials of this person are that important when the optics of their presence there are going to prevent others from listening to them?
That DP is next week? Is it? Hold on. Let me ask. I guess it is. Oh, I'll ask about that later.
I was waiting for a chat answer, but I guess I'll just go on right ahead. My argument would be no. My argument would be no. Because even if Tyrone Big Dick is a super fucking on-the-ball cool dude. Oh, Tyrone's Big Dick is actually slightly smaller than average, but he knows that you guys wouldn't be bothered by that. Tyrone Big Dick, even though he's a very, very accomplished and intelligent person, unfortunately, because of the way he presents, the way that he appears, people are not going to listen to him. The racist white kids in that school probably aren't really going to give a fuck about what he has to say because they meet all his expectations of the type of person we shouldn't care about. And that's what Ferociously Steph is to Twitch. Ferociously Steph is constitutionally incapable of doing positive change on the platform because she meets every single stereotype that gamers have about this type of person, or at least many of those stereotypes. And for that reason, it is virtually impossible for her to affect change in any positive manner. Steph isn't a political actor, she's just giving advice to Twitch, she's not starting some movement. Yes, except now that Steph is on this council, it's very likely that people are going to ubiquitously oppose any decisions they feel were made by this council or informed by this council because they're going to assume it's all crazy SJW stuff, even though many of the people in this council are extremely academically accomplished and intelligent. They were going to oppose them anyway, fuck them. No, you can't. That's just delusional. No, optics exist for a reason. Optics are a thing that exists. Do you seriously think that if Steph wasn't on this platform, that Livestream Fail wouldn't look like this right now? You should be able to act stereotypical if you want. Alright, I'm getting frustrated now. Yes,
I'm gonna make him repeat that for a second. Read again.
Academically accomplished and intelligent. They were going to oppose them anyway, fuck them. No, you can't. That's just delusional. No, optics
I'm gonna
exist.
slow it down. Because what he says just now is very important.
For a reason. Optics are a thing that exist. Do you seriously think that if Steph wasn't on this platform, that Livestream Fail wouldn't look like this right now? You should.
Do you think that if Stephanie Lore was not on the council, that Livestream Fails wouldn't look like a harassing bunch of people that are taking what is sensational topics that affect an entire platform and scrutinizing every single detail about them? Well, I think that that wouldn't be happening if she was not there. No. Because it doesn't matter who's in the limelight of the scrutinizing platform. People are going to see what they see. People are going to do what they do. While optics technically do matter, the problem is not the optics themselves, Vaush. The problem is, again, the genuineness of the words being said. That is what matters most. And the reason why is because, like I said earlier, the most passionate people are going to have the most volatile reactions. The gamers, they have the kind of reactions that you expect. Which is to say, as a hard R gamer, the kind of reactions that I'm going to have to sensational topics are always going to be my knee-jerk reactions or my cognizant thoughts as I think through what is currently taking place in front of me. It doesn't matter what I think at the end of the day, because my knee-jerk reaction does not represent my actual opinion. For example, if I were to take your reaction to the cringe that was the image that you played for the chat, Vaush, and I were to say, oh, this motherfucker, he objected to it. He objected to the deer girl. He needs to be banned. He needs to be canceled. He fucking blinked. He didn't like it. If I were to have that take, Vaush, I would rightfully call myself a fucking idiot. I would even go as far as to call myself retarded. But, Vaush, even if I were to have that reaction, at the end of the day, if I collected myself, and I said, you know, actually, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? What she does in the privacy of her own home does not affect me. And therefore, have all the weird, kinky fucking ear scritches you want, girl. Get them. If I refine myself, and I make that take, and I say that, even if everybody saw what the reaction I had, it doesn't matter. Fun quote from a movie called Black and White. Actually, two of them, but I can only remember one. It is not your first thought that makes you a racist. It's not your first thought that makes you a bigot. It's not your first thought that makes you a phobic person. It's not your first thought that makes you hateful. It's not your first thought that makes you toxic. It's not your first reaction and your first impressions that reveal what you think about people. It's your second, it's your third, it's your fourth, it's your fifth, your sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. When you, Vaush, say, oh my god, she looks like the biases. Oh, I remember the quote, what the other quote was now. When you say, she looks like and hits and checks all the boxes of all the stereotypes of what the gamers will hate, what you're saying is, you validate everything they think about us. And, again, it's not your first thought that makes you bigoted. It's your first, your second, your third, your fourth, and your fifth, and subsequent thoughts. If it were just a one-off opinion, then you could say, this is unfair. We don't even know if they hold this opinion again. And then you can ask them, and then you can deliberate from there. Instead, what you're suggesting is, we should remove her because she's just bad for business. And also, the gamers, they can't control themselves. They're just gonna latch onto her. They're just gonna attack the shit out of her. You have a worse opinion about people who you don't know and haven't met than you probably should. And I say that as a gamer who is very aware of how toxic gamers can be. But again, that doesn't make you right, Vaush.
Should be able to act stereotypical if you want.
Tonight, Pro is cringing with his bro on YouTube about femcells. Okay. Steph is a living stereotype because of the way that she acts and the things that she says about gamers. She demonizes gamers, and that they complain about the people that she demonized hit back. Yes, that's correct. There's also the same problem of why I do not like what Vaush is saying here. And why I am pushing back against it, not only because I have a responsibility to, because now that I am a public-facing individual, I have to make my position stated and clear, because according to Vaush, if you don't say what your real opinions are, you can just lie about them when you're asked later. As though this motherfucker has never done research on people to begin with, but that's another point entirely. If you are as cynical as Vaush as to attack a group like gamers, poison the well, and say they will never agree with this, you are just as reductive as the hateful, bigoted gamers who are actually out here, like Billy, One Angry Gamer Usher. For you to devalue my opinion and compare me to him is abysmal, and I am offended by that assumption. You do not know all gamers, Vaush. You don't, and neither does Stephanie. If you open yourself up to have an opportunity to learn, that could change. But not like this. But not like this.
All right, I'm getting frustrated now. Yes, in an ideal world, absolutely, you should be able to act stereotypically if you want. But if we're talking about optical presentation and the ability to effectively make change, pragmatism is important. This is very obvious. Walk up to a black guy who's trying to make his way in the business world and say, hey, dude, you don't have to talk like that or wear a suit. Well, you can dress however you want. I saw this picture of you when you were 13. You used to wear your pants down low. You can do that here. Like, come on, dude. No. Everyone recognizes this. This is why code switching exists. Because if you want to be effective in a more institutional or a more business-oriented environment, you need to kowtow to certain standards of professionalism. You're arguing for capitulating to reactionary prejudices. You guys are actually like what Contra has a problem with. We're not blaming Steph for being who she is. We're saying that Steph, because of who she is not capable of affecting positive change. And I care more about purging Twitch of toxicity than I do letting one immature fucking trans girl have a run of like their advisory council, even if it prevents them from doing any good.
Oh, damn. You know what? That sounds really based. Let me run that one back again. Say that again, Vaush.
Certain standards of professionalism. You're arguing for capitulating to reactionary prejudices. You guys are actually like what Contra has a problem with. We're not blaming Steph for being who she is. We're saying that Steph, because of who she is not capable of affecting positive change. And I care more about purging Twitch of toxicity than I do letting one immature fucking trans girl have a run of like their advisory council, even if it prevents them from doing any good.
You know, I would say that's very transphobic. Wouldn't you, chat? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I thought women can do anything. Why do you believe that she can't change, Vaush? I don't know. Sounds pretty chivalrous to me, sir.
It's actually insane to me that any of you could think any differently. That's actually like incredible. It's actually insane to me. Like, you'd think that what I'm saying right now is in any way acquiescing to reactionaries. No, it's just a matter of how presentable can you make yourself. Now, mind you, Ferociously Steph can be whoever the fuck she wants to be on her stream. That's great. I don't give a fuck if she's... I'll admit that the head scratching shit does make me uncomfortable, but my discomfort isn't an argument, logically. If this is what she wants to do, okay, cool. She seems to have a nice setup here. This is cute. No. Look, she's got like a green screen. Look, like there's a little escape the dungeon thing over there. It's like really cool. Like, great. I sincerely want her to be able to exist on this platform free of harassment. But hey, as long as there's toxicity on Twitch, she won't be able to. And we can't get rid of that toxicity unless we engage in effective strategies of mitigating the toxicity on
False. False. Very, very false, Vaush. As already stated by Esmond, she can live on the platform any way she wants to. And in her community, if she chooses to be an authoritarian asshat, I don't give a shit. It's her chat. However, when she's on a council, you are right. She does need to code switch. She does need to understand that the way that she communicates is going to be important. But not because she needs to be a more effective orator on Twitch. It's because she needs to not inflame people and attack them unfairly for no other reason than because she is big mad about a group of people she doesn't understand. Especially if she's not a big gamer. Especially if she's not a competitive gamer. Because I'm pretty sure you're not a competitive gamer either. So, you know. Companies should just let councils do and say whatever they want. Wait, no standards for anyone? What could go wrong? Yeah. Yeah, Krakow. Yeah. Now see, the thing is that they already reined her in, right? What Vaush is actually arguing here, when he says what he said there, is he's saying, I want to be able to stop her from ruining my argument. That's really what he said. Because nowhere during this did he ever say anything to even give an opportunity and a chance. He didn't let her get the chance to allow Stephanie to learn from her mistakes and actions. He just said, no, out with it be. I don't know. That seems pretty authoritarian to me.
on that platform. Lumi is a very respectable and professional person. I think Lumi would do a good job. I don't know if that's a position Lumi would want to take, but that's something that I sincerely believe. So here's what we should do. Final roll call, baby. Let's wrap it up. Ferociously Steph is an immature, silly, cringy person, and I think that's beautiful. I think she should be able to live whatever life she wants. Godspeed. That's the sign of a free society right there, baby, okay? That's the sign of a free society. Well, you judge the freedom of a country not by how it treats its best citizens, but by how it treats its cringiest. That is the measure of a good country right there. And this here, the country of Twitch.tv, that is the world that I want to live in, okay? We need to treat our cringiest members with deep and abiding respect all the time.
but she's not a good fit for the position, and she's clearly not capable of managing this kind of public responsibility, this kind of optics, this kind of public condemnation. So I don't think she should be there. I don't know the best way forward to make that the case, but I don't think she should be there. Again, not a personal condemnation of her, but it is something that should probably be done. However, the most resolute criticism that I have, as a matter of fact, is not of Ferociously Steph or Twitch for putting Ferociously Steph there, even though they probably knew she wouldn't be able to handle the public scrutiny, are the Gamer Bros. We can just keep them on scroll here for a little bit. You can read the comments yourself if you want. Here, wait, let's slow the scroll. There we go. We'll slow the scroll. There we go. The Gamer Bros. My friends, the Gamer Bros. I'm talking to them now, okay? I've got some advice, all right? Listen, I get it. There are crazy SJWs out there. Seriously, I just talked to one, at least from my perspective, right before making this video. I just did that. I just had that conversation, okay? So I get it, and I sympathize. But let's be realistic here, okay? Your rights aren't being taken away, and you're not being hurt. You're just not. A Twitch Safety Advisory Council, this is already kind of a laughably ineffective organization to begin with, but the existence of one, like, literally WHO Omega Who person who's on that council who's, like, cringy or whatever, this isn't really a threat. Like, it's just not. It's just not a threat. Like, it's not hurt.
Again, false. As already stated, it's not that they're on the council, it's that they took the liberty to say what they said about having power and that people should be afraid of them. And then Twitch basically absolving them of all sins for their actions and pretending as though the fact that they were attacked is thus proof of why they need to be there. Rather than addressing that shit happened and confirming, yes, we agree, that was in bad taste. That was in poor taste. We apologize for her behavior. She apologizes. She apologizes for her behavior. And we will fairly measure and discuss and also attempt to educate them moving forward to allow them to learn from their mistakes. Like I said before, that is all they needed to say. You denigrating and mocking the Gamer Bros, like you are right now, is proof positive exactly the reason why you're not qualified to make that point, Vaush. It's not the Gamer Bros who had this opinion and take. Every single walk of life in the platform had the opinion of being against this because of how she chose to behave. Asmongold's not a Gamer Bro. As much as you would like to claim it, he's not. Because by your standards, a Gamer Bro was an incel virgin, and that man has a whole ass woman. Gets in drama because of her, but he has a whole ass woman. So does Mark Kern. So does, technically so do I, but I have hoes. That's not the same. But, so does Devin Nash. So does Cobb Carnage. So does Summit G1. So does the people on the Raj Royale. With the exception of Kane Reno, of course. Everybody, male, female, trans, gay, lesbian, they all had the same takes of this being a bad look from the council, and the bullshit from Everton Shear being egregiously annoying. And the reason why, and now I'll show you the other thing I was showing you earlier, is not because they perceive it to be a threat. Nobody thought that the council itself was going to be a threat. They thought it was going to be another piece of the same shit we usually see. And the reason why is because of things like this from The Verge. How Shear said in the past that transparency is how you build trust. This is the same thing that I read on my broadcast that I'm reading again here, because it's important. Twitch tries to follow its own TOS, even though the process of moderation is usually opaque for streamers. And now the plan for the company is to be more transparent. Transparency is how you build trust. If you can't see how something is done, it is hard to conclude that it was executed fairly. The idea is to make Twitch's processes clearer so that everyone can see people can see the decisions aren't made arbitrarily. The truth is consistently over time. There's also the other post that was made on the internet, you know, the one that everybody knows. The "when we make mistakes, hold us accountable" post made by Twitch. It's because when we see shit like that, and when we see shit like this, and then we end up seeing responses like what we saw from them, how can I be able to trust them to hold their word when they are proving themselves hypocrites at every fucking turn? That's the reason why the Gamer Bros are upset. That's why everyone's upset. Again, you are doing what she did. You are concluding that everybody there must be a gamer, must be a man, and must be mad. I mean, if you want to argue for your own obsolescence, you can feel free to on your version of the country that is twitch.com. But me, in the real world, I would rather not get fucked over by a company because I use their platform and they just decide, you know what? You don't get to have rights anymore. Because in this same article, Emmett Shear talks about Twitch not being a free speech platform. They do have rules. They want you to appeal to them. And already said, it's a matter of not wanting to be taken over and also pushed out of a place by censorious rules that makes things more and more and more restrictive. And also, she is absolutely a threat in the broadest sense of the word. Because, as already stated, I perceive somebody who says, I have power, you should be afraid of me, to be somebody who I kind of don't want to have deciding things for me. But it's not a matter of them perceiving her as a threat because of her gender. It's not because of them perceiving her as a threat because of her status. It's not because of them perceiving her as a threat because she's part of a minority, or because she's trans, or any of that gobbledygook bullshit that you chose to claim. Or even assert because you chose to assert it by the lie of omission. Vaush. You can tell that lie as many times as you want. It does not make it true, and I'm going to call it out every time you try to mention it. That is a lie. Stop lying. You are lying about people who do not think these things, and you are trying to lie about an entire mass minority group, or an entire mass majority group, both of them, by assuming that everybody must be a part of it because all the other people, they don't object to this, and I don't object to this, so that must mean you're on the outside. You're not stupid. I'm not stupid. And I know that you're not stupid, so stop saying it.
Hurting you guys, but your harassment does hurt her. Now, I recognize as a public figure that she is to be held responsible for the things she says, and that you can't withhold criticism from her because she's a public figure, so, like, yeah, she should be talked about. But to blow this up into some massive fucking conspiracy, to turn this into some weird fucking condemnation of, like, the broader groups that she's a part of, to relentlessly insinuate that she's mentally ill, which, I mean, she may or may not be, but I hope you're not insinuating that's the case because she's trans, to insinuate that she's, like, a delusional power tripper, which she may or may not be, but if that's the case, the power she has probably isn't substantial enough to trip on. This, to me, is the real cringe. This is the real cringe to me. I'm cringing right now, I am. If you care about gaming, you should be able to care about everyone participating in gaming. You should be able to care about every person, men, women, cis, trans, everyone, to be able to participate in this hobby.
It's too bad that you don't, because you were willing to throw her ass to the wolves the second she ended up fucking up your position. And now you are defenestrating yourself to try and mock people by saying they're the ones that have the problem, Vaush. Eat shit, sir. Eat shit.
Gamer my entire life. I am, as much as the term is cringy, I am a gamer. I mean, I am. I play a fuck ton of video games. I'm playing them right now, baby. Chat can't see what I'm doing with my hands. I'm playing Total War in the background. I've got more monitors they don't even know about. I'm very powerful gamer. But if you care about this hobby, I mean, if you really care about it, you should be able to want everyone to participate in it. And not just participate in it, to keep people from being discriminated against within it. Right now, a lot of women don't really play games. Doesn't that suck? A lot of them play little pissy mobile games. But are they playing like hardcore shit?
Destiny. Excuse me, not even Destiny. What the fuck am I on? Vaush, if women choose not to play video games, that's their choice and their prerogative. If random women choose not to play games, that's on them. Video games, as a consumer hobby, much like movies and TV and content and writing, is for anybody, but it's not for everybody. For example, I'm going to say a hot take that I made last night, and I'm going to repeat here. In order for one to truly appreciate live action tokusatsu, they must have an appreciation of stage play and professional wrestling. Why would I consider that to be a hot take? Because if you're the kind of person that likes Marvel movies, but you're also the kind of person that says, oh my god, you watch fucking Power Rangers, you're such a fucking man, baby. You're an idiot. And you, sadly, Vaush, did the exact same thing when you said, I want her to be able to have a place to exist here, but I don't think she should be on the council. That is you saying the exact same shit I just described. And then, to then further ingratiate yourself by saying, but I want all women to play games. And guys, the only way we can get all women to play games is to stop harassment. Nick, no! No! Nigga, no! No. No. If they weren't playing video games, They weren't playing video games. Trying to make it appeal more to them is not going to get them to play video games if they weren't already interested in playing them, if they didn't like the concept that was being put on display. Period. It's just, there's no correlation there. There's no correlation that if you remove the harassment from the platform, it would bring more people in. There's none of that. You could try to destroy the platform all day and all night trying to find ways to make it better, but that's not actually going to then correlate to getting butts and seats. That's an actual argument that was made by the people over by the Overwatch League that tried to say, yo, having people be on the website and watch our games is actually great for us to get people in the stands to watch the games, because yo, having home stadiums, building a business model based on people coming to the physical location and sitting in the bleachers, that's gonna bring us views. Except that the Overwatch League didn't have those things. They instead were bot farming on other websites by using rehosts and M's to bring up their numbers and then reporting that as true to then shop those numbers around to investors to say, hey, actually, do you see all these things that we've done here? Look at how we've removed the toxicity. Look at all the people we have in the stands. Look at our numbers. Here's proof that we've done this. That's what you're suggesting here. Because the majority of the people on the website are not going to agree with the opinions that you've said here and expressed here and espoused here, Vaush. This is not going to happen. And it's because the people who are already in gaming don't need you to make it safer for them in order to be there. Realistically speaking, could you make it easier for them where if somebody was to say, bring them on a podcast and someone was to attack them on the broadcast by insulting them, would it be fair for me as the streamer if I was hosting that podcast, which I feel like I might end up having that happen one of these times? If that happens and I have to step in and say, hey, stop it. They're my guest. Please don't mock them. If I have to be Stephen Colbert and say that to my audience, even if they don't like the words that come out of the mouth of the person, I still have to do that. Because if I platform that idea, I have to be willing to hear what I don't want to hear. That is the expectation of being a streamer on Twitch. I am at the mercy of the public, just like you are. I am at the mercy of somebody in my chat right now saying, Carl, go suck a fucking dick. Go make dinner for your mom. Fuck you, you asshole. Who cares what you fucking think? Who do you think you are, having the audacity to sit here in your goddamn ottoman chair, sweating a fucking storm up, where I can see your goddamn jiggling man tits, you fucking autist? Somebody could say that shit right fucking now. I can't stop them. I could ban them, but that would prove me a coward that I can't stand the shit that I take. So instead of being a coward and say, well, I need to sanitize the internet so I don't see bad opinions, I can instead just allow myself to be harassed and abused and say, thank you, sir. May I have another, sir? Could you please spank and twist my nipples, sir? That's the better thing that I could do. I can give and take, or I could cry in the field position. Now, I don't know about you. I can't answer that question for you, Vaush, but I know which one I'm gonna do. Right? Obviously, I'll just wait. But no, I know which one I'm gonna do. Every single time, I'm gonna be willing to stand the slings and arrows because I never know what's gonna happen. The internet's a weird place, man. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I would rather have an opportunity to allow that to happen than close myself off to the world like Steve Shives. But hey, if you want to live your life behind block bots, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. I can't stop you. I can't control you. I have no desire to. In fact, I would rather you do that, because it makes for good content, baby. But again, nowhere at any time is there a correlation between stopping harassment on the platform and improving the station that would bring people in to come use it. Because if people thought that something was not useful to them, they were always going to have that perception in the first place anyways. If they come in of their own volition, and then that happens, now you'd have an argument. But that's not usually what happens. So,
shit you're playing? Probably not. You know why? Because for the past 30 years, the gaming industry has been catering pretty much exclusively to men. Overwatch has a lot of women that play it, but like CSGO, I mean, there are some, yeah, but like...
The gaming industry has been pandering itself exclusively to men. Can we get a Kappa in the chat?
if we're just looking at the stats, man, this is a male-dominated hobby, and that sucks because I love female people. I love that. I love female people. Okay, I want them to share my hobbies. It made me so sad back in middle and high school when I thought they were cute girls, but we didn't have anything in common. Doesn't that suck? Don't you want to be able to play games with your epic big titty waifu who gets headshots with Widowmaker and then swaps to like Zarya and lands the perfect graviton vortex field or some shit? I don't know what the names of the abilities are. Don't you want that? Don't you want that? I want that. Well, I've already got a girlfriend, but I do want that. So if you want that too, you should work to make the gaming space more inclusive. That means not harassing people over voice chat, and it means calling out people who do harass others over voice chat. You don't have to treat this like some big white knighting thing. Just like
no, that's white knighting. No, that is the cringy shit I've ever heard, Vaush. If they want people to be included in a space, they just should be themselves. That's the same advice I'd give to people who are going in as they are existing already. You don't have to target people. You don't have to change a single damn thing about yourself. Just treat them how you would want to be treated. If people do dumb shit, you don't need to call them out. You don't have to do a single damn thing. You can just do what the fuck you're doing and interact the way that you interact. Because other people's behavior has nothing to do with how you behave. How you conduct yourself, Vaush, has nothing to do with how I conduct myself. And by your logic, because I find what you say abhorrent, if I thought that you were right here, by your words, I would be correct in telling you to go fuck yourself because you are being reductive to women and calling them literal children. You're calling trans people literal children. You're saying that they are so weak that they need to be protected. And no, they're not children. They are adults. You're supposed to be an adult, but I don't know. If it wasn't for the picture that ended up inspiring my thumbnail, I would assume that that was not likely. But no, Vaush. Men and women are not children. They do not need advice from you to tell themselves how to dictate their lives. They do not need to defend and stop every single harassment case happening in front of them and where they see them. They don't need to be the Gillette man telling the dude, nah, bro, that's a bad look. That's a bad take. You shouldn't do that. Because nobody likes authoritarian asshats. Nobody likes somebody who's going to come out of the woodwork and tell them, bro, you can't do that. That's wrong. Bro, you shouldn't do that. That's misogynistic. Nobody likes that guy. Nobody likes that coming out of your mouth. And if you do that, Vaush, nobody likes you. Now, there's an argument that can be made that when you're in a place where you must behave like that, code switch, if you're in a place where the environment expects you to be cutthroat and means that you must acclimate yourself to it, you realize by that same argument you made earlier when you said that, you're actually making the argument that they need to learn to assimilate into the culture of the place that they're learning to join. That's what code switching means, dude. If I'm a black person, because, you know, I'm all niggardly and shit. If I wear a suit to go to a business meeting, or I wear business casual to go to an interview, and I'm wearing polos and khakis, and then on my off time, I'm wearing this, I do that because my workplace has an expectation for me to dress to the code that is expected of my professionalism. That is because I have signed a document that says that I must do that. Now, in truth, I have not signed a contract to deal with Twitch that tells me that I need to do that all the time. I have not signed an exclusivity contract because I have not been offered at this time an affiliate contract. I am working towards that. And once I receive that, I will not be able to do certain things. Like, I won't be able to restream using restream.io, which, by the way, is not an advertisement. If you want to use something that helps you be able to stream to multiple platforms and give people opportunities to see your content in more places, I would suggest it. But no, Vaush, in that argument that you made about code switching and about learning how to be an effective and efficacious, not just an effective, but an efficacious commentator, an efficacious debater, an efficacious tool towards propagating your opinions, it would behoove you, sir, to do your job. Period. Your job, Vaush, is to just stream. You stream, make content, and do what you will. The platform's demanding nothing from you other than that. you go out of your own way to make that choice to do that. Like, even though my audience gives me money, which, by the way, thank you very much. Mwah, 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 I love you. Even though my audience gives me money, I don't make this content in the expectation that they do it because I do it for them. Because that's IBNS, and I don't like internet blood sports. You can go fuck yourself with that internet blood sport bullshit, because that's where that kind of behavior that you're advocating here in your entire diatribe at the gamers actually incites. I don't feel like attacking groups of people that have nothing to do with anything that I'm involved in just because I'm big man on the internet. That's not how that fucking works, sir. I don't do this shit with the expectation that when I say these things, my audience will then go out and do the advocation of what I say. They are their own man and woman, and or other described. They don't have to listen to me. Now, the expectation is that if they want to help themselves to learn how to be better orators and speakers, they should challenge themselves the same way I'm challenging myself to not barf on camera listening to your fucking voice. Because if they want to improve themselves, again, they have to challenge themselves by exposing themselves to opinions and ideas that they don't want to hear. And I don't do this because I just want to have an opportunity to pop you in the mouth. Metaphorically and figuratively and ideologically speaking. I do this because I want to hear what you have to say. Technically, if I use your argument, I'm platforming your voice by choosing to put this on my channel. I am elevating it to the status that is deserving of being heard. And you are deserving of being heard, Vaush. You are deserving of being heard so that you can be summarily mocked by people who disagree with you and can prove your points wrong, like I have been the entirety of the time of this fucking stream, for all of the near 3 hours that I've done so. And I hope that y'all excuse my diatribes, as I like to wax poetic, because a nigga poetic and shit. But the point I'm trying to get to here is that, Vaush, that's bullshit. Code switching happens because we live in a cutthroat world and we have to adapt to our environment. You adapt or die. That's how that works. That's not just advice for life, that's advice for business. That's just good business. And the problem at the end of the day, no matter how you choose to ingratiate it to yourself or your audience, it is not the fault of Stephanie that this happened. It is not even the fault of the gamer chuds why this happened. It's the fault of, number one, propaganda, and number two, Twitch staff itself. Specifically, Emmett Till and the company. Because it is bullshit for you to try to suggest that all of these gamers are wrong, and then that all of these gamers are responsible for the actions of other people that they are not affiliated with and that they do not endorse. You are as responsible for your own arguments as well as the arguments that you are leaving out of the discussion by trying to frame this as a problem for the gamer bros to work out. Removing the toxicity of gamer chuds. Gamer chuds is not going to solve toxicity. Because as already seen, in a Hive-like reset era, where there are no gamer chud opinions and y'all ban each other on a regular basis, y'all eat your own regularly. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody even more unhinged, even more left-wing, even more radical than you who will say that you're a fucking coward. Ban them all, ban them all. I'm pretty sure that opinion exists. However, is it your fault that that person exists? If they do, I know that they do, but is it your fault that they said what they said because you're ingrained on your side? Is it your job now to push against them because they're making the space as toxic as you are? By your own words, it is, but you're not about to fight that fight. So why are you making this rant of yours as though it means anything? As though the rant I just went on means something. At the end of the day, we are two people having flowery posed wranglage over the intermedium of watching the content of the other. And these words mean ultimately nothing, because people can ignore them, and also the company can ignore them, and just keep on this censorious bullshit that they've already been on for the last 5 years. You can play this game if you want to, but I already know where it goes. I don't need you to squat over my plate and shit on it. Like, again, what the fuck are you talking about? Who are you lying to? And also, just to sum this up before I click play again, especially on the point of code switching. or just behaving differently in an environment because you have to adapt. I will say this. There are both males and females who have to adapt to Twitch and operate on it in a way that is unfair to them and the majority of other people who must engage in that format. There are plenty of streamers, most of them who are female, and most of them who are females who would not be categorized as Twitch thoughts, who have to fight an uphill battle all day, every day, against people who make the platform worse for them. But they do not attack them and try to dissent against them in the way that you suggest that they do, Vaush. Instead, they just are themselves. They live their personality, and they live their truth, and they live their life. And everybody loves them for it. You know? People like Elspeth Eastman. People like Melanie Mack. People like Cupquake. All streamers like that. And people like my own friends who are also streamers. My personal friends. You cannot sit here and say that what you said is true, because those places and those spaces and those people and those places and those spaces already exist. You just don't care about them because they're not saying what you want to hear. And on that regard, for you to erase all of those people because you're not getting what you want out of it, you are despicable. Go fuck yourself.
It's just like easy, like, hey guys, why the fuck are you being weird about the girl? Like, it's not white knight, it's just like being reasonable. It's just like doing a nice thing. If you saw like some younger kids getting picked on by adults and you were like, hey shit, would you think of like white knighting for the kids? It's just the right thing to do. Help women out when they're in those positions. Trans people too. Maybe you don't want to date a trans person, that's fine. But don't you think it'd be nice if they could just play their fucking games without getting harassed? That'd probably be nice. I think that would make them happy. You know, I mean, I'm assuming. Whoa! Sorry, I moved my mouse. I'm assuming. What about people of color? Like black people. I mean, you can't tell a person's black or whatever while playing a game with them. But sometimes, like black folk, like AAVE, they like talk a certain way sometimes. Don't you want them to be able to play? I mean, I should hope so. I'm not trying to be preachy here, but if you care about that stuff, if you care about the integrity of the hobby, which I do, I really genuinely do, then we should all be able to unite around a shared interest in making this hobby accessible to as many people as possible. That doesn't mean getting rid of voice chat, but that does mean all of us taking a little bit of responsibility for taking care of all the fucking weird-ass fucking sexism. Hey, if you ever run duos with a girl, anytime you fucking boot up voice chat and she says something, everyone's got a fucking joke. Everyone's got a fucking joke, dude. Everyone. Girl? Is that a girl? Oh, wow. Don't make me a sandwich. Wow, is that a little girl over there? Huh, it's not a girl. Every time. Every fucking time I want to put fucking bullets through my skull, dude. Every single fucking time it happens. That's why girls don't get on voice chat. But if you want to live in that beautiful future where you pop up a game CSGO and you roll in and you say, yo team, what's up? And you hear 4 big titty goth waifus run in. And they all say, hey there, let's plant that bomb. If that's the future that you want, you can hear like the boobs jiggling next to the mic. If that's the future that you want, you gotta make gaming a little bit less toxic of a space for them. I believe in you. I believe in you, okay? All right? I do my best. I guess, I don't know, when I play online games, like if someone's being really weirdly sexist, I usually just call them out for being cringy. Because let's be real, most of the people who are being sexist online are losers. Like, you know that, right? I'm not impugning you. I'm just like, when someone is like over voice chat, they're like, can I make me a...
Here's a question, chat. Who thinks that Vaush is a loser? I'm gonna if I could raise both my feet. Ooh, shit. I believe Vaush is a loser because he's trying to insult entire groups of people, and he has no place to. But like, who is this for? Is this for you, Vaush? Because that's pretty cringy to say, dude. I mean, we've seen your partner. Hey, yo. But, you being somebody to go out and say, yo, I'm gonna call up my teammates? No, the fuck you don't, Vaush. Your teammates would mute you and ignore you, Vaush. You're the kind of guy that after they were done bullying me in high school, before I started fighting back, would bully you. Right? Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself.
Sandwich. Like, these are usually like really pathetic people. It's really easy to make fun of them in return, and we're doing them a favor because if we make fun of them and they're shamed into not doing that anymore, then they'll probably drop some of that toxic behavior, and it'll be more likely that they'll get a girlfriend, right? Gotta wean off that behavior. There's a reason why a lot of the really sexist people.
One more time. What was that?
Right? I'm not impugning you. I'm just like, when someone is like over voice chat, they're like, can I make me a sandwich? Like, these are usually like really pathetic people. It's really easy to make fun of them in return, and we're doing them a favor because if we make fun of them and they're shamed into not doing that anymore, then they'll probably drop some of that toxic behavior, and it'll be more likely that they'll get a girlfriend, right?
Gamers don't have girlfriends, guys. They're not capable of getting vagina. Because he gets vagina, that means that he's totally a gamer who deserves to have the platform position. Vaush, what if I was to tell you that nerds and gamers are a lot hornier on main than you think? And that right now, as we speak, there is a power switch bottom that is navigating his way into the thickest shit that you could have ever imagined. What if I was to tell you that was happening? What if I was to tell you that the person speaking right now on the mic is someone who has been in encounters with both men, women, and older women, and has never had a problem getting laid? Because I'm not misogynistic.
You know, unless they ask me to be.
But what if I was to tell you that all of these people that you're making up in your head, even though there are people who fit that standard that you just made up, that's not real? That the majority of people who say those things on mic, they don't even mean the shit that they're saying. They're just saying it to get a reaction. Because they want to see if the person who they're playing with is a Cassidy K. Or is like you. Someone who's going to spring to a fence and complain and cry and whine and say, oh my god, this is the reason why. What if I was to tell you that that's a shit test? The same kind of shit test that you think that you should do on other people. What if I was to tell you that they're giving you a taste of your own medicine? I'm not saying they should do it. I'm just saying I understand. I don't think you want to understand that, Vaush. I think you understand the concept, and you like to do it in your own circles where you think nobody can hear you and see you. But baby, I see you, and I kind of want to see a little less.
Gotta wean off that behavior. There's a reason why a lot of really sexist people online are single. Like, there's an association between these two things. You know, I mean, the world's not ready to have the conversation yet, but...
No, there's no association, realistically speaking, between people being assholes on the internet and not having girlfriends. Or boyfriends. Or sex partners in general. It has something more to do with the idea of them being socially awkward in most cases. Either they're socially awkward, they're a little bit scared of the outside world, they don't really think about those things. It's not something that concerns them that concerns their daily life to concern themselves with the fact that, oh my god, I don't have a girlfriend. Oh god, I need to have one. I need to have one, otherwise I'm gonna be bullied on the internet on Twitch.com. That's not something that people think of normally. Because most people aren't sociopaths, Vaush. I'm not saying that you are a sociopath, because that would require you to be able to control yourself a bit more than you already are. You're not able to convince me that you are one. I just think you're an idiot. But, no, there is no correlation between that. Not on the realistic sense. Now, if you were to say there's a correlation between people being socially awkward and also being antisocial, and them not having girlfriends, and that the majority of those people who do not have girlfriends or boyfriends are also women, and a couple of them happen to also tend highly towards being propensity men, then you would have been accurate with what you said. Because I actually looked at those peer-reviewed studies. The majority of the people on the internet who usually have those reactions and think like that and have that kind of thought process isn't particularly men. It tends to be toxic women who are floating and cheating on relationships with other men. Like Caterino! But you ain't about to have that conversation. Hypergamy, what's that?
It's true. It's pretty true. So fight for that world. Fight for the big titty goth GFs, okay? Don't you want? I know you want it. I know you want it so badly, dude. I know you want to boot up a game of Arma. I know you want to boot up a game of World of Tanks. I know you want to boot up a game of what's a hot thing? Valorant. There, that's the next one.
I don't want to play Valorant. I don't want to play World of Tanks. I don't want to play Arma. I don't play those games. I play Path of Exile, a game that allows me to be an antisocial asshole, and play by myself and affect no one else other than my own game, my own stash, and my own maps. And it allows me to do so without having to interact. And if I happen to interact with a map finding group, guess who I'm playing with? Not irregular random people, unless I choose to do so, because I'm looking for somebody who has a lot of support auras that allow me to clear the map, and I can be able to pay them for that support aura character. No. I'm playing games that allow me to be antisocial, my sir. I'm playing single-player games. I'm playing long single-player campaign games. I'm playing story narrative games. And if I ever go on to a PvP map, if I ever play a game that involves other people, I'm either going to be only communicating with them in the context of doing the thing that I need to do, that I'm there to do in the raid, or I'm going to go into the PvP lobby, I'm going to say, GG, good game, like BG, bad game. I'm gonna go in there and troll and do whatever the fuck with my style of gameplay, whatever taunting I do. I'm gonna go do that, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna be personal. It's gonna be what happens in that place. It doesn't matter what game it is. That's not how that works. In fact, I tend to be somebody who wants to allow people to communicate and interact in those games. But not everybody plays the games that I play. Not a lot of people around me, even in my own Discord, play Don't Starve Together. Not a lot of them play Terraria. Not a lot of them are interested in playing it. And they may be interested in playing something like Minecraft, but I'm not interested in playing Minecraft. Mainly because I don't have a way to play Minecraft. It is what it is, baby. It is what it is. You can make up whatever argument you want to try and justify the angle of what you're going for, but the angle of mind angle will never curve towards the left. It always swings to the light and a little bit downwards droopy. Not really though. Not really though. We all know my dick doesn't exist.
You want to boot up a game of Valorant, okay? You want to get in there, you have your fucking teammates out there, you're all playing, there's lots of girls with you, there's boys and girls, okay? And afterwards, okay, you're playing, you're making the hot plays, I never played Valorant, okay, you're having a good ass time, and after you're done with it, you know, you're like, hey, that was a lot of fun. Want to re-queue? And you do. 3 of them re-queue with you, okay? 2 girls and 1 boy, all right? And you keep playing, and you keep re-queuing, you have a lot of fun. One of the other people drops off, just you and 2 other people, and you're like, hey, that was a lot of fun. Do you guys want to share like friend codes or like friend each other, and then we can do this again tomorrow? And friendship blossoms. And not just dude friendship either, girl friendship. And if you're straight, which I imagine you are, if you relate even slightly to the things that I'm saying right now, and you like the big boobies, okay? The big jugglies, okay? The friendship with the ladies is actually step number 1 to having the sex friendship with ladies, okay? I know I'm being highly reductive.
Vaush, what if I'm gay? What if I want to get that boy in my lobby? And I'm like, hey bro, that was great fun. Yeah bro, that was fun too. Hey, you want to hang out and do this again later? At my place? Yeah bro. Bro, come on. What do you mean? It's like, bro, I'm just saying I like having fun time with you, bro. Bro. And then you lick your hand, and then you grab him right in between his legs, and you just stroke with your fingers. What if that's what I'm into, Vaush? What if that's what I want to do to them? What if I want to give them the good old scarab scratch? Right on the sack. Right on there. What if that's something that I'm into? This big titty golf girl future kind of doesn't allow me to do that gayness, now does it? Now granted, I'm bisexual, but what if I don't think you're right? What if I'm bisexual and I want to have a boy and a girl? I'm just saying, there's a lot of erasure going on here. I thought you were progressive. I kind of need you to give me some dressing for this word salad. But fortunately, I think I have my own dressing. Because you see, I like my salad like I like my men. Greek! So this gobbledygook that you're coming up with, Vaush, I kind of need you to go fuck yourself off right now. I'm gonna finish this video now, and then I'm gonna go cook dinner for my ma after I say goodbye to my chat, and I don't want to have to look at your face again. Hopefully in the future, I would highly like to hope that is a possibility. If I don't get to have that because I don't get to have nice things, that's outside of my standard. I can't be mad about that. But I would prefer to see less of you. Nowhere inside of your video so far until we finish. You could surprise me in the last 2 minutes. I don't know. Big world. But nowhere inside of this video did you ever try to really affect the argumentation of what was going on here. You didn't try to clarify the reasons why people are upset. You just were very reductive the entire way around. You were disrespectful the entire way, and you deserve to be mocked for your bad takes, which is exactly why I chose to make the thumbnail the way I made the thumbnail. Who knows if you even make it this far into the fucking live stream, and you just say, oh my god, look at what he fucking did to us on the thumbnail, and you prove my point about exactly the reason why you should understand how the internet works. Because, Vaush, the thing that you didn't address anywhere on here is that the internet is a dangerous place full of scallywags and vagabonds that are just gonna try and clap cheeks with big titty waifus and kind of just want to be left the fuck alone. And when you try to attack a group of people by saying what they are and are not to another group of people, and you lie about them on a regular basis, constantly, well, you try to get attention from them, to go out of their way and try to prove a basis of an argument that never existed and never was real at any point in time, whatsoever, no matter how much you say it's real. When a minority like me, tells you, the privileged, cis, white, patriarchal male, that you may be wrong because you don't understand what you're talking about because you're not from here. You ain't from around these parts, boy. When I tell you that, by your own rules, you have to respect it. You have to listen to what I say, because if you don't, that makes you a bigot. And that's kind of unfair, don't you think? Who made me the Grand Poobah? You did, but who gave me that authority to tell you what you could and couldn't say? Right? You'd tell me to go fuck myself. And you would be justified in doing so. Because that's how the internet works. I shit on you, you shit me back, a punch, a counterpunch, feint, dip, dab, duck, dodge, punch. That's how it works, baby. That's how it works. You earn your fucking keep. Prove that you're capable of belonging here. Prove to everybody else that you have the ability to make a proper fucking take. That you're rational. That you're not an insane fucking human being. That you're worried about all this bullshit. I mean, bro. You can't say shit like this and expect that people aren't gonna call you out about it. That's insane, man. That's insane, man. I don't have to attack you just based on what you choose to identify as. I can attack your points while still saying that the shit you're saying is retarded. I could have put any thumbnail on this fucking video that's gonna become a live stream VOD later. It would still not discount what I said. I could have put no thumbnail. I could have just put my face with my normal standard default microphone in my hand. You know, that iconic pose of me turning to the... Was it this angle? No, it was this way. Of me holding my microphone like this in a silhouette. I could put that on the business card. I could send that business card to you with a micro USD of this conversation that we're having right now in this dialectic on this live stream. I could send that to you. I could dress it up in all of its Caucasian and in all the Caucasian finery. I could put on business suits. I could put on clothes. I could put on a frilly fucking Baroque dress and dance around my room like a fucking court jester. That's not gonna make my argument any more salient. My argument becomes more salient because I know what I'm talking about, I'm confident in what I'm saying, and I understand the cognizance of mind that I have and how I choose to orate myself. You could close your eyes and listen to what I'm saying this entire broadcast. Granted, it might make the visual element of what you've seen here a bit less entertaining. That is sacrificed if you were blind. But you can hear the words I'm saying and understand that there is some eloquence behind them because I am not dumb. You are not dumb either. That's why you are where you are. Use a bit of that intelligence and expand your horizons. Attempt to understand that everybody is not a gamer bro chud. Understand that everybody kind of wants to be left the fuck alone, and they don't want the internet to go to worse shit than it already does because of over-censorious, overreaching, overbearing, censorious asshats like you. Maybe try to speak less for people and speak more for yourself. Because you're right, you are not an authority on anything. And I will not accept your framework. I reject what you have said, wholesale and piecemeal. I do not believe you. I will not suggest people believe you. I would not even suggest people believe me. Think for yourself, audience, like I always tell you to. Decide for yourself whether or not you think one of us is fair or not fair. Now, with that being said, let's finish this shit.
Here, but the ultimate point that I'm getting at is that holy shit, having women and other minorities excluded from your favorite hobby does you a disservice, okay? I get that I'm being highly facetious here, but holy fucking shit. Do you have any idea how toxic you make your own spaces by excluding the people who you're sexually interested in from them? That doesn't mean you have to treat every woman online like they're your next fucking girlfriend or anything like that, but goddamn, like, wouldn't it be nice to at least have the possibility? Wouldn't it at least be nice to not think like, okay, time to boot up CSGO, I wonder what fucking 14-year-old Russian kids I'm going to be paired with this time. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And hey, you know what? If you're a dude and you're gay, then you can disregard everything that I just said, because I guess everything that I just said applies pretty much exclusively to straight men. But goddammit, to do it because it's the right thing to do, okay? Even if it doesn't benefit you, even if you just want it to be a bunch of men.
Do you love it like I love it when somebody who knows how high of bullshit he is on has pre-planned and thought out every single angle of what I just said to counteract his argument that he just throws it in there like it's supposed to be able to throw it away? I love it when people play that game, because I can play that game too. But you're not going to win it, Vaush. You're not going to win it.
Do it anyway, okay? Make gaming less exclusionary, alright? Keep the voice chat, but ditch the sexism or whatever, and transphobia and racism, blah, blah. Okay? I believe you guys. I believe you.
If you want, the gay man, you can be sexist toward women if you want, but only if you do so identifying that you're gay, so people can be homophobic to you. That's the mutually assured destruction. Okay, that's like we have missiles on both sides. Okay, so that way, anytime people are sexist online, we can be like, all right, homo. That's not good, but that's what you're doing to other people. Okay, so that's fair. That's reciprocal. Yeah. Okay, that's mutually assured destruction right there.
Whatever, straight. Oh, good. All right, so. No, I'm not none of that. Bring that ass back here. Bring that ass back here. I did not put my ratio and stamp on that of the seal of approval. Bring it back, bitch. Bring it back. Bring it back. All right, so.
I don't know how many of you watch live stream.
Alright, so that's the stream. Let me go and run through the things very quickly, because I know there was some shit I missed here in my shit. I think I read this one, but I'll read it again. She is absolutely a threat. She's an unruly and hypocritical sociopath in a position of power, and she openly boasts about abusing said power because her special identity protects her. You are 100% and absolutely right, Dr. Krakow. That is one of the reasons why a person could remove her from the council. However, I believe with somebody sitting right on top of her and holding her accountable for her actions and keeping her in line can prevent that from being a problem. But, I could be proven wrong. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't give third chances, but I'm willing to give people a second chance if they can commit to the labor. If they can't commit to the Heraclean labor, I will not extend second and third and fourth and fifth chances. I will cut them. I will cut them. Mariner, excuse me, another one. Vaush wants communism for video games. He does. Shilling when not paid. I mean, it's a service that I like to use. Much like video games that I like to play, why wouldn't I promote it? It allows people to do a job. It's a tool to be used, and I will suggest that anybody use it to help themselves. Vaush out here thirsty. Oh boy, man. Oh, Nick. I'm not sure if you've seen the pictures. If you go back through my timeline, you could probably find them. But let's just say he doesn't have problems with women. But Vaush is going to have a very serious problem with a lot of other things in the future. Me, everybody voting from earlier. Vaush needs a lot of citations. Yeah, Vaush needs a lot of citations, because a lot of the shit he just said, he ran by really quick at the audience and assumed that his argument was true. And he does the same shit that a place like the Grift left, specifically and explicitly, our old friend Jake likes to do, which is to walk you into saying, here, let's just assume that I'm right. And no, I'm not going to ever assume that you're right. Because if I assume that you're right, I must be fucking crazy. Gay erasure, correct? Be a white knight for women and minorities, and you will get laid. Vaush. We all like that. Do you? Do you really want the scarab scratch? Because this does not feel as good as it looks. Mainly because I got nails now, but, you know. I don't think you want a nail as long as this, tickling your family jewels. You know what I mean? Pilfering the pocket, as we call it. They don't call it that. Oh my god. In reality, White Knight ends up becoming doormat because women and persons of color will not respect a blatant panderer with no spine. Correct, Tactical. Correct. I have. No, I mean to never see Vaush again. Yeah. But come on! Just tell it. Just jush it slightly, you know? Just, you know? Like Footy Cootie. Just jush it like that. Just polite jushing. But yeah, that is the stream, everybody. Thank you for coming by. I hope to see y'all later-ish, I hope. I don't know if I'll show up on post-podcast tonight. I may, I may not. I haven't decided. If I don't, I will see y'all again next time. And if I do, well, I will see y'all later. Otherwise, I will see y'all in the future. And hopefully I have some people who will join the Discord. Because, hey, I have a Discord. You should join it. Oh, wait, it's on this side of the screen. I have a Discord. You should join it. And also, follow my social media. And if you enjoy the content that I make and you want to support me in the future because, you know, a nigga broke and he can't kind of get a job because all the jobs in my city are food service and or public servantry and all that shit's closed because of the goof. If you want to support me, you can drop me money at kofi.com/singleplayercarl. I have a subscribe store, but like I'm trying not to use it because the problem is that they are holding my money hostage. There's like 30-ish dollars that are held in their system, and I can't get it out unless other people donate, because one of the things that is suggested is that I have to have at least $50 for payout, and also I need to have at least 5 people. A very good, gracious, humble person gave me money earlier in the future, in the year, and I can't get it out because they haven't responded to the email, and I can't remove it yet. So if you want the money to go directly to me in the best way possible directly, Ko-fi is the way to do that. If you want to try and help me get that extra money out, it's kind of, if you give me enough to get it out, it'd be like $50. If you wanted to do that, you could do that too. You can find that at subscribestar/singleplayercarl as well. If you have questions you want to send me to my inbox, and I would not suggest doing it on Twitter because I get a bunch of harassment on Twitter because I like to be spicy. If you want to send fan questions, send them to my Curious Cat. That Curious Cat, I think it's .me now. CuriousCat.me/singleplayercarl. You can find me there too. You can basically find me where all smuggery is sold. And again, if you want to have a direct contact to me and join the community that I have here, be friendly and join the frack chicanery. Again, found here, right next to my panel screen. Now, again, thank you for coming here. And just in case there are any people who accuse me of this later, because this usually is something that comes up every now and again. No, I'm not saying. Let me switch screens really quickly, so I can do this. No, I am not saying I am asking you to give me money to harass people on the internet. I do this shit for free. If you enjoy if you'd enjoy me, if you'd like to enjoy me, if you would like to enjoy me on that bed back there. If you'd like to enjoy me wherever and with whatever endeavors I do, with whatever projects I work on in the future, if you want to make it possible for me to survive until we're all the way throughout this coof, or if you just want to give money to me because you enjoy who I am, I will take your money, and I appreciate it every single hole, even if my face doesn't react to the emotions I feel inside my heart. Unless that's a heart attack. My left hand didn't go numb. The right hand didn't go numb. Maybe not a heart attack. But if you appreciate me and who I am, and you want to give me shit, you can do that. Now, I don't want you to feel that you need to give me shit just because you want to. That's not what we're here for. I appreciate each and every one of you equally, even if I've never met you before. And if I've never met you, hey baby, I'd like to get to know you. How you doing? I'll see you later, everybody. Goodbye. Good night.